How are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. Do you find men confusing to read sometimes? Wouldn't your dating life be made so much easier if you just knew when a guy liked you instead of having to play this crazy guessing game? Well, today is the final day you ever have to guess. Because on today's show, we're going to be discussing 5 instant tests that reveal if a man is interested in you. That way, you never again have to worry about emotionally investing yourself into a man who isn't even interested in you. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating, because you know I love spending this amazing time with you. And we got to start this off right, because y'all started off right and the YouTube chat starts it off right. Specifically, shout out to Coach Crystal in our YouTube chat. Before I even got on here to intro the show, she donated $50. Okay, let's all give a big round of applause to Coach Crystal. We're starting off this show hot and heavy. I didn't even get a chance to introduce the show, and she donated $50. So thank you so much to Coach Crystal. She says, thanks for doing the Lord's work, Tommy. We appreciate you. I appreciate you as well. We starting off this show hot and heavy. All right, welcome, chat. How you guys doing? I see we got Kayla here. I am here. Millie here in the TikTok chat. We got Sweet. We got Lee. We got Tasha. We got, who else we got? We got Zyra and much more in our YouTube chat. We got Scotty here. Scotty's a staple. And I believe we have either SH or Suresh here. One of the two. I think I saw them. I think I did. Okay. Who else we got here in the YouTube chat? We got Tracy Niles. Of course, she's always here. We got Teddy. We got Joanna, one of the two. We got BB, who is here as well. Welcome. We got Nadia as well. Let's see. Is the social sanctuary here? We got Maria, we got Ambi, we got Kayla, and we got lots and lots more. Of course, we got Coach Crystal. Coach Crystal is very generous today, feeling very generous. We got Irina, Agatha, and Electric Field. Welcome all of you beautiful, beautiful, amazing souls. And of course, we got Missy America holding everyone down as our YouTube moderator in our YouTube chat. Wow, we starting it off right today. Okay, let's get right into it. All right, so number one. Now, these are, I want you guys to understand, when we're discussing all of these, see, some of these are going to come in the process, right? These tests to reveal interest. Some of these are going to come in the process of a guy approaching you. So I want to use some of these strategies to help you gauge the interest as a guy is approaching you. And some of these you can use on a cold approach, meaning like without you even actually knowing the guy or him asking you out on a first date or anything like that. You're just using this to gauge, is this guy even interested in you, or does he want something from you, or is this just kind of like a friendly thing, right? So these are kind of, all of these 5 points are going to consist, some of which are one of those things and some of which are the other of what I just discussed. Okay, so let's get started. So first things first that you need to be doing, decline the first offer. Okay, now let me explain myself. See, this is the thing, and I want you to understand the psychology of men here so that it can make sense to you. I know it's going to sound weird and it's going to sound really strange, but I want you to understand why this is so important to gauging a guy's interest. See, here's the thing. When a guy approaches you, right, assuming he approaches you somewhere, he thinks you're beautiful or whatever, or he asks something of you, he wants to take you out, he wants to go take you out on a date, see you, get to know you more, all the silly stuff that guys say. You have to understand that for you, you're also doing a job here. You're not talking. You're not doing the chasing. You're not doing the pursuing, but you're analyzing and you're receiving. See, what you want to be doing when you're building in the Players Club, you want to be making sure that you're only investing yourself in the guy who's the most emotionally invested in you. You hear some other gurus say, spend the most time with the guy who spends the most money on you. I tell you, spend the most time with the guy who has the most emotional investment in you. Why? Because that guy that has the most emotional investment in you is the guy that's going to treat you the best. Okay, so what I want you to do, and this is where I want to bring in the psychology of men. The reason I want you to decline the first offer is because it's going to make it very clear to you how badly he wants this if you decline that first offer, especially, right, when you decline that first offer, and that first offer is something like, hey, I would love to get to know you more. Can I take you out on a date tomorrow, right? He's already putting himself out there and showing his interest and showing his pursuit of you. Now, this is where I want you to calm down, because I know when I say decline the first offer, you're thinking, Thompson, if a guy that's so amazing, so beautiful, so handsome, so charismatic, the life of the party, he comes to me and bestows upon me an opportunity to go out with him, and he's such a high value man, why would I decline his offer? That's only going to discourage him, Tomisin, from wanting to date me. I want all the men to want to date me, and I want to be as likable as possible. I don't want that man to not date me or get frustrated and leave me alone and go talk to some other girl that'll say yes to the day. You don't worry yourself about that. You need to understand that when a man wants you, when he really wants you, okay, he's not going to be able to just, oh, you said no the first time, so it's whatever. I'll just go and do off and go somewhere else, right? When he really wants you, he actually anticipates, and this is where I want you to wrap your mind around this because it's going to sound really strange. When he really wants you and he sees you as someone who is really valuable, he's going to anticipate it's not supposed to be easy to get to know you. It's not supposed to be easy to take you out. It's not supposed to be easy to be the man that you end up with, okay? Right? Because if he's seeing you and he's assuming you have value, he's also making the assumption that I'm not the only one that sees that value. There are other men in her life, other men who come across her that recognize her beauty, that meet her and recognize her amazingness, that meet her and recognize how much of a great personality she has. And they also want to take her out and go out with her and get to know her and all this other stuff. Okay. So you have to understand declining the first offer for a guy that's actually interested in you is perfectly in line with what he anticipates from you. Because if he sees value in you and he knows other people value you, he's going to know you have a lot of options, right? And so when you decline his first offer, it's just a reassurance to him that you have a lot of options. You're not just willing to jump at the first guy who says, hey, do you want to go out on a date? Why? Because you hear that all day, every day. And all the men want to take you out on a date. So it's not something new to you that this guy who comes along, stumbling along, even if he's charismatic, even if he's got money, even if he's really smart, really intelligent, and really handsome, it's not news to you that an intelligent, handsome, rich, smart man is going to ask you out on a date. Now, this is why it's such an important test, because I want you to understand, see, when a guy really isn't that interested in you, or what's mostly going to happen, he just wants to do the absolute bare minimum to get access to you, meaning he doesn't really respect you or really see any true value in you. What he's going to do is he's going to ask of you to do something for, let me give you an example here. What he's going to do is he's going to ask you the bare minimum because he wants to do the bare minimum for you. So let me give you a very clear example of when a guy doesn't have interest of you and what the way he'll approach you, right? So let's say you're at a party, okay? You're at a house party. Some of you might be on the older side. Let's just assume you're having a get together. It's a party, okay? You're at one. Now, you're at this party and this guy that you've never met before approaches you. He's like, hey, you look really amazing. Your dump truck is really filling up those jeans there. You've got the tightest jeans on in the party and your dump truck's amazing. Do you want to come over to my place tomorrow and watch Netflix? And you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm not really down for that. I've got a lot of other stuff to do tomorrow. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem, whatever. And he just walks off, okay? That's a perfect example to you, right? First of all, him asking you to come over and watch Netflix is very low effort. But also, the fact that you just said, no, I'm good on watching Netflix, and he just walked away and left it after that, that is a clear sign to you that his interest level in you, truthfully, wasn't that great. He might like your dump truck. He might think that your jeans are really tight and that you look really good in them, but he's not necessarily having the level of interest in you where he actually wants to invest in you emotionally and build a relationship with you. See, it's really important for you, and this is why this is a great show today, because this is really important for you to understand in the guys that you're meeting. You constantly want to be gauging a man's interest level in you because you don't want to make the mistake of investing your time and energy into a guy who isn't really that interested in you, because you're only going to end up frustrated because when you're building this relationship with him, right, and you're trying your best and you're putting your best best foot forward, you're going to be like, well, Tomisin, he's not reciprocating, or he's doing this, or he's doing that, or he doesn't seem like he's truthfully as invested as I am in this relationship. And we don't want you frustrated like that because, you're with a guy who doesn't have real honest interest in you and definitely doesn't have more interest than you have in him. We don't want you in a position like that. So this is exactly why I want you to decline the first offer, because this is the response he'll give you if he's truthfully interested in you. So let's use that same example. You're at that house party and a guy says to you, hey, you look so beautiful and I've never seen you before. I heard that you're a friend of Carter's and I would love to get to know you more. Are you free or available sometime, like maybe on Friday? I would love to take you out and get to know you more. And you're just like, Friday, I do have some plans, so I don't think I'll be able to do something on Friday. And he's like, oh, no, that's perfectly fine. Look, what about Saturday? I have the afternoon free as well. We can go out on Saturday. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I could go on. Maybe I could go on something on Saturday. Let me check my schedule. What time were you thinking? 9 o'clock. Does 9 o'clock work for you? I know a perfect spot. It's just literally across the corner from here. You live downtown, right? Yeah, I live downtown. Yeah, so we just go to the spot. It's right across the street over there, and it's a great sushi spot. Oh my God, I go there all the time. I love it. I would love to take you there, and it'd be so amazing, right? So you have to understand, when a guy actually has real interest in you, even if you decline that very first offer, the initial offer of, hey, I'm free on Friday, you want to go out on Friday? And you're like, no, I can't really do that. I'm busy that day. He's going to say, when he really has real interest in you, he's going to go on with the second offer, right? Because he knows that, hey, she might not say yes to the first thing, but I want to figure out how I'm going to get access to her, okay? I want to actually put my best foot forward here. And even if she might say no to the first thing, that's not no to me. That's not no to going out with me. And see, the thing is, emotionally intelligent men, they're aware of the difference between no, I'm not interested in you, and no, I just can't do what you just offered me for that specific day at that specific time. So when you get good at helping guys understand the difference between those two, they will also respond to you in a way where they're like, okay, so that's not no, you're not interested in me. That's no, like, okay, I should keep trying type of no. And when trust me. And you probably know this from dealing with guys who you didn't really like that much, that bothered you, and you didn't really like them that much. You know that when guys are really, really interested in you, they rarely ever are able to take no for an answer. Okay, you got to tell them no multiple times for them to even think that no actually means no. Okay, and I say that to say, for most of you are attractive women, except for maybe a few of you that might have huge bobbleheads, but most of you are attractive women who are capable of attracting multiple men. So that's not really your problem. Okay, and so I say that to say you're also going to have experienced what it's like for a guy to be really, really interested in you, because the way he's going to approach you might be annoying to you and bothersome, but I want you to take notice of what it looks like and feels like when a guy's actually interested in you. Okay, don't just use the feeling that you get or the experience with those type of men and throw them away and be like, I don't care about those men. Actually recognize the way those guys respond to you when they're interested in you, even though you don't care about those guys, so that you can use that information a one-to-one to recognize when I'm actually interested in a guy and you're trying to gauge his level of interest in you. Use that experience with those men who were interested in you and pursuing you that you didn't care about as a way to gauge that. So what I mean in this specific case is, right, from experience, if you're an attractive woman, that when a guy's really interested in you, he doesn't just take your first no as a no. He goes and he says, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And I still want to get to know you, and I'll take you out here and we can do this. Oh, you only have 5 minutes? Well, can I get 5 minutes of your time? He's like a salesperson, right? Oh, you said you only have 30 seconds? Well, I can squeeze in on those 30 seconds. You think we can go out then? And they're just persistent. So what I want you to do, and this is why it becomes very important, because I want you to leave room for the guys who you're going to be dating that you're actually interested in. I want you to leave room for them to actually show you interest and show you some pursuit. What I don't want, this is what's going to make me nervy, because I know when we talk and we have a good discussion, it's easy for you to go out and feel like you're going to do everything that we discuss. But I know when you see the guy that you actually actually like and you actually want to be in a relationship with or really want to go out on a date with, what's going to happen is when you're talking to him, the first time he even says, do you want to, yes, I want to go there. Wherever you want to go. Do you want to go to a landmine? We can go to a landmine. You want to go to a war zone? We can go to a war zone. Wherever you want to go. You want to go to the military? We can go in the ocean. Do you want to go in the ocean? Bermuda Triangle, wherever you want to go, we can go there. I'm ready. I'm already dressed. I've got my dress picked out. Can we go earlier can we go earlier? Okay? And that's the problem. We want you to leave space for the guys to, first of all, show you interest and then also pursue you properly, because guys are used to being able to, when they actually value you and actually are interested in you, they understand if you have value, you are going to decline the first offer because it's not a big deal to you that another guy, is in line asking you out for a date. Okay. They all are. That shouldn't be a shock to you. And he also knows that if he truly sees value in you, he's already assuming that to be true. What's going to throw that off is when you're saying yes to everything before he can even get it out. He's going to feel like, well, I don't really have to work too hard for this. I'm not really that, clearly she's really eager to go out on this date. So it already starts to put him in a space where he thinks, okay, well, let me pursue less. Let me try less because clearly I already have all the goods needed to be in a relationship with her. She's in love with me, okay? I say all this because part of what we discuss in the Players Club is meant to actually turn your mind and adjust your mind state so that when you go out on dates with guys that you actually like, you can actually get them to like you more than you like them because you understand how the way you can come across will be perceived, okay? Right? And we can call this manipulation, whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you will get the guys that you actually like and want to like you just as much, if not more, which is the key to having a great relationship because you don't want to settle for bums that you don't even like. We want you to get guys that you're actually interested in and you actually want, but you have to understand your approach is naturally going to change when you really want a guy. And that's what leads you to be in a situation where the guys that you actually want ignore you, don't take you seriously, or just discard of you after taking advantage of you. We don't want that for you. We want even the guys that you want to be obsessed with you, okay? Does that make sense? Tracy now says no dusty bums, right? My water bottle should have been filled before this. I need to bring like 2, and this is like 2 liters in here. Okay, I drink lots of water. Me drink lots of water. Does that Sarah says, what if your face card declines? Okay. So what I want you guys to understand, for those of you that are like Thompson, I'm a little bit, I struggle in the physical attractiveness department. So guys aren't, approaching me as much and things of that nature. Okay, so the thing that you have to do first, if you feel like you're struggling in that department and you feel like when you look in the mirror, you're not confident in you and you don't actually truly believe that you're the it girl, you need to start investing in you until you start believing that to be true. Because if you look in the mirror and you're truthfully like, I'm really not her, then that's the first thing you need to address, because when you're going out on dates, unfortunately, and when you're meeting guys, if you don't truthfully feel like that, and that doesn't feel authentic to you, you're going to find it difficult to actually outwardly put the level of confidence that is attractive and desirable to men. Because guys are also attracted to confidence. And so if you truthfully feel in your heart of hearts that the guy that I'm talking to, I don't even deserve to be talking to because he's rich, he's handsome, he's charismatic, he's everything that all the other girls want, and I'm nothing compared to all the other girls, when you already have that belief, you've lost, because you'll never be able to go about that relationship like his equal. You'll always go about the relationship as if you're bestowing upon me an opportunity to be with you. And so what are you going to be in? You're going to be in a fear state and a scarcity mindset where you're like, oh my God, he finally said something to me. And because he said something to me and I need to be with this man because this is my only opportunity to get with a good high value man. I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to slurp him off. I'm going to rub his feet. I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to clean his underwear. I'm going to fold his clothes. I'm going to do everything that I can possibly do so that he'll like me and continue. Once you're there in that mind frame because you think you're less than and he's bestowing upon you an opportunity because you're not the it girl, you've lost. And you're only gonna it's only gonna go downhill from there, because he's gonna realize that you believe that, and then he's gonna treat you according to your own belief. of yourself. Okay. So you can't, if you don't believe that you're worth a man approaching you and asking you out on a date, and then you saying no, and then him being persistent in asking you and asking you for a second offer and a third offer, if you don't truly believe that you deserve that, you first need to work on you until you believe that you deserve that, because you ain't going to be able to build proper relationships from a good foundational level until you actually believe that. Okay. I just have to be honest with you, because a lot of this is based on what we talk about in the Players Club. We'll talk about energy, the way people receive you, aura, all this stuff that you can't see, but you can feel in your heart and in your spirit. And so it's very important that you got to take care of your heart, your spirit, and your emotions before you go out into the dating stage. Because like I said, the guys aren't going to be attracted to the girl who's the most insecure and the least confident within themselves. Because when they meet you, they have to be able to believe in the fact that you're the it girl and the girl that everyone wants. And they can't believe in that if you don't even seem to be able to believe in that yourself. Because every day of your relationship will just be about him trying to convince you that that's true, and you'll be telling him that it's not. And nobody wants to be in a relationship with someone like that. Okay? Does that make sense? Right? Says personality and your energy plays a part too. 100%. I know we call the show the Players Club, but I never want you guys to mistake. Part of understanding the player's mindset and doing everything that we talk about in the Players Club is not just the physical, it's also the spiritual and the emotional. Okay, we talk a lot about emotions here. Okay, don't you worry. So number one was to decline the offer. Okay, the first offer at the very least. Now, number two, this is a very interesting one that I want you to utilize in your time here. And this is actually one of the, it serves many different purposes in many different ways. In this way, it's really good to gauge you guys' interest in you, because guys are only inclined to do this when they actually have real interest in you. So number two is to create a problem that he and he alone can specifically solve. Now, the reason I want you to create a problem here is because you need to understand one of the main things that will happen to a guy when he becomes interested in you. He's going to want to make you happy, okay? Because making you happy is going to make him happy, because he's going to know when you're happy and he can attach himself to your happiness. That also means that you're going to be more invested in him and this relationship, okay? That's the reason that they say happy wife, happy life. So men understand that on a subconscious level. So when he begins to build a relationship with you, or he wants to build a relationship with you, your happiness becomes at the top of his priority list, okay? Now, so I say that to say, when you have a problem then, an issue that needs to be solved in your life, financially, emotionally, whatever it may be, even if it's something that you feel might not be that big of a deal. When you start to have problems and you communicate to him the issues that you might be facing in your life, the first thing he's going to be thinking to himself is, how do I help her solve that problem? Because like I said earlier, he wants to serve your happiness. He wants to make you happy. And if he has real interest in you, at the top of his priority list will be your happiness. So if you can create a problem and see if he actually is inclined to try to solve your problem or offers to try to solve your problem, this is a great sign to you. And I know this sounds really silly, but this will be a great sign to you that he actually has true interest. Because on the opposite side of the spectrum, if a guy doesn't have interest in you, when you offer him a problem up that you have that can be solved by him, especially in his area of expertise, and he doesn't have any real interest in you and he doesn't care about you or anything that you're doing or care about your happiness, he's not going to be inclined to try to solve your problem. Why? Because he doesn't even have the level of investment in you where he cares about your happiness. Now, this is all operating on a subconscious level, so I need you to understand this is not really something that guys can control and say, I'm actually uninterested in her, but I want to trick her into thinking that I'm interested in her, so I'm going to pretend like I want to solve. Guys don't think like that. Only when it's really natural to them that they're interested in you do they start thinking, how can I solve her problem? So I know that some of you are thinking, well, Tomisin, can you give me an example? Because I'm not really sure what type of problem I should give a guy that he can solve. What type of problems can guys even solve for me? I don't even understand like what you're talking about. So this is what I mean. And I want, like I said earlier, I want the problem that you use and you create to be something. So in the process of learning him and having a conversation with him, you're going to get an idea of like what his niche is, meaning what his hobbies are, what he's interested in, what he likes to spend his time doing, and what, you know, where his mind lies, because some guys might be artists, so they're into a lot of art and painting and things like that. Some people might be musicians, they're into music and writing and instruments. Some people might be, I don't know, computer nerds, they're into engineering, they're into software, coding, all the other stuff, right? So I say that to say, when you meet a guy, you always want to get a gauge of where his mind lies in the world, right? Where does he fit in? What are his interests? What are his hobbies? Then you create a problem that lines up directly with whatever his interest or hobby is. Okay, so for example, let's just give a really basic example here. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you are meeting a guy who's a real big gym bro, okay? And you're telling him, hey, you know, I'm really trying to figure out how to grow my back, because I've been in the gym, right, for a couple of years, and I've been getting really good at growing everything in the gym, except really my back. And I see a lot of people recommend exercises like, you know, pull-ups and stuff, but I don't have the strength yet to do pull-ups, but I really want to get my back to the point where I can do pull-ups, and I'm not sure what to do. I feel like I've tried so much stuff. Here's the first thing a gym bro is going to say. Oh, wait. You want to grow back? Do you see my lats spread? Do you want to grow back? Okay, hold up. I'm going to tell you how to grow back step by step. Do you have your phone out? I'm going to show you this plan right here, okay? We're going to create you a 6-week, okay, plan here. Get your phone out. Why is your phone not out? I'm going to show you the plan here, okay? So what you're going to do, okay, first week, what you're going to do, 3 sets. You're going to do, okay, so I want you to get a band. So, okay, I got this band on Amazon for you. Okay, we got this band. You're going to get this band. There's a green one, there's a black one, there's a red one. You're going to get all 3. So on the first week, you're going to use the green band. You're going to use the green band, put it on your feet, and you're gonna pull up with the band. I'm telling you. So the assistance is like 50 pounds. What you want to do, strategic, very strategic. Okay. Each week you're gonna do progressive overload. Have you heard of progressive overload? Okay. So you get my point, right? Guys, right, as soon as you create a problem, especially out of something that he's already interested in, he is going to run as fast as he can to try to fix your problem. Why? Because your happiness is at the top of his priority list, and also it's an area of his already existing expertise. So when he has interest in you, he's like, not only does she have a problem, but I am the perfect person to solve her problem because I literally know everything about this. Now, vice versa, if you ask a guy and you create a problem, especially in an area of his expertise, and he doesn't seem that interested in solving your problem, he's like, oh, you want to grow back? Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Yeah, for sure. You definitely could grow back. That is a clear sign that he's really not that interested in you. Because especially when you combine having a problem with an area of expertise that he has in life, right? So some of you mentioned, you can make it a car problem if he's a car guy. I think some of you mentioned different type of things, right? Whatever it may be that he's interested in, you can make it a computer problem if he's a computer guy, whatever it is, right? And you make it an area of his expertise and he isn't inclined to solve that problem. That is a clear sign to you that he is not that interested in you, because he's had every reason there to solve your problem. One, because your happiness is at the top of his priority list, but also it's an area where he has a lot of knowledge. So he's actually one of the best people to solve your problem in that state. And that's one of the easiest ways for him to solve that problem. So if you meet a guy and you do this test and he doesn't feel inclined to solve your problem, that is a really, actually, this is one of the most clear indicators that he just really doesn't have that much interest in you for real, okay? Because 100% of the time, 100, okay? This is one of the few guarantees I'll give you. 100% of the time, when a guy's interested in you and you create a problem out of an area that he has expertise in, he will definitely try and solve that problem for you and give you detailed answers on how to solve that problem for you. That is a 100% guarantee for men, okay? I'm not always going to give you guarantees in this show and the Players Club because I don't like to lie to you. When I do give you a 100% guarantee, that is a 100% chance. If he has interest in you, he will try to solve your problem when you create one out of an area that he's knowledgeable in, okay? right? And if he doesn't, that definitely means he doesn't have a lot of interest in you, okay? I can just assure you of that. Guys love solving problems, and they love solving problems, especially for their women, so that they can feel really big and bad and masculine and like the most finest, amazing hunter in all of the jungle, okay? So when you give them an opportunity to do that and they don't take it, that usually means they don't really have the level of interest in you required for it to even matter to them. You understand what I'm saying? Michelle said in the TikTok chat, she said, what if it's something about him buying for you? Does this show real interest? I would not focus on asking him to do something like spend money on you. So I'll give you an example. The reason I say this is because when you do this because I want to give you guys ways to gauge a guy's interest even when you're first meeting him. Here's the problem though. If you do things like ask him questions like, oh, so, I've been having this problem. You say you're a really rich business entrepreneur, right? I've been having this problem where my bank account says 0.00 and I'm trying to make it say 1, comma 0000 comma 0000, and I'm just wondering if you're smart enough to be able to solve that issue for me. This is the problem. And I know a lot of you like money. Oh, I want money. I want the guy to give me money. Here's the problem. When you do that at the very beginning, just off the rip, he's going to say, oh, I don't even want to invest my time or energy into this girl because clearly she's trying to just get me to spend money on her and I don't even know her. You're going to ruin all of your chances at getting emotional investment out of that guy when you do that at the very beginning. So don't make your problem money focused from the very beginning. There's a time and place to ask for money and to create a problem out of money. There is, but you have to have guys emotionally invested in you to be able to even get money out of them, okay? You can't just get guys off the cold approach to be interested enough in you to just spend money on you unless they're a weirdo. The regular everyday guys who just have money and are attractive and don't have any weird issues, they're not just gonna come out and give you money off of a cold approach, okay? It's just not gonna happen. So don't be money focused, be problem focused, like I said, in his niche. So I would rather you make it a problem where he can either advise you or give you direction on how to get your answer or get to where you want to go. So like I gave in my example where it was like, how do I grow my back? That's free advice and help that he can give you, okay? And strategy that he can give you. If it's, I've been trying to figure out how to, stream my presentation on Zoom because I can never figure it out. And he's like a tech bro. He'll explain to you that's free advice that he can give you and a problem he can help you solve. And what it'll probably lead to is, hey, you want us to go out to the gym together and I can show you the moves or whatever, right? And that's what it'll probably turn into, so that he can actually go through and follow through with helping you. You don't want it to be so money focused, especially at the beginning. He's gonna sniff that out and he's gonna say, oh, this is just a plot to get me to give you free money, and I'm not doing that. And he's automatically going to shut his emotions off. He's going to shut down, and he's not going to think of you as anything but a transaction or a bank account. And so you're going to lose your ability to grow a relationship with him from there if that becomes your area of expertise that you need his help in. Okay, don't make it bank account focused and money focused. The worst way to extract money from a guy, for those of you who are always asking my advice, how do I get a guy to spend money on me? The worst way, we'll have a whole show on this one day, but the worst way to do that is to be money focused at the very beginning. That's the easiest way to never get money out of a man. Okay, just a little bit of advice. Okay, right? So Scotty says, should you thank him? I believe that there's nothing wrong with thanking him for him giving you advice or helping you in the area of expertise that he has. It's a great thing to do, and you definitely do want to show guys appreciation for being the smartest man in all the land, the most capable man in all the land, because you're giving him positive feedback when he solves your problems. So now in the future, whenever you have issues, he's going to feel like I should be solving her problems, okay? Right? So number one was to decline the first offer. Number one was to decline the first offer. Number two was to create a problem. Now, number three, and this is a really strategic one that I want you guys listening up to. Number three is to present to him a free day and see if he uses that as an opportunity to see you or spend some time with you. Why? And I don't want this free day to be like, hey, I'm free right now, or I'm free like, tomorrow, or anything like that. I just want it to be, I have a really busy schedule plan. And in the process of my busy schedule, I happen to have one day which I'm completely free, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. So this is how you do this strategically, because I don't want you going up to guys and saying, hey, you're a handsome man. I've been staring at you all night long. I'm free on Saturday. Do you want to take me out on a date on Saturday? Don't do that, please. Please, okay? What I want you to do when a guy's already in conversation with you, this is where you get strategic. Part of joining the Players Club is learning how to be slick and charismatic yourself, okay? Be enchanting yourself. When you're having this conversation with this guy at this party, at this event, at the club, wherever, and you guys are going back and forth chatting, I want you to strategically, in the middle of the conversation, bring up the fact that you do have a busy schedule regularly, but you just so happen to have something free on a free day on Tuesday, and you've been trying to figure out and coordinate with your friends like what you should do because you're not sure where you should go or what you should do on that day. That is a perfect opportunity for a guy who is interested in you to jump right in and swoop in and say, oh, you're free on Tuesday? I like you. I feel like you like me. I feel like we're vibing. I actually have some time free on Tuesday. Since you just mentioned that you're free on Tuesday and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do on Tuesday, why don't we go out for coffee? Why don't we go to a picnic? Why don't we go roller skating like we were talking about earlier? When you get good at this, you'll be able to just implant it in the flow of a conversation where it feels natural. And I promise you, when a guy is truthfully interested in you, he will use this as his opportunity to jump right in and say, oh, let's do something on that day that you just mentioned you're free. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, I do have to be honest with you. When you do this and you present this and you present your free day and he doesn't mention at all doing anything on that day, I have to be real with you, he probably didn't have that much interest in you in the first place. He either sees you as a friend or not necessarily it's as pressing to him to see you or spend time with you that he would want to take that day that you just mentioned is free to you. Because I can assure you, when a guy initially meets you, even when he just initially meets you and he sees you as attractive and he likes the conversation you're having and you mention the fact that you're free sometime later that week, he's definitely going to take that opportunity to at least ask if you would like to see him or spend time with him later that week if he really has interest in you. Now, if he just wants you for the night, let's say he meets you at a club or a bar and he just wants to sleep with you that night, he won't be worried about that, okay? So this is another way to gauge if a guy wants to build with you or if he's just chatting with you to sleep with you that night. Because some guys are going to chat with you when you see them to try to sleep with you that night. So if you mention, Friday, which is 4 days from now, he's going to say, hold up, little missy. I'm not talking to you to talk about Friday. I'm talking to you to talk about right now, today, so that we can sleep together by the time I go back to my apartment. I don't care about what you're saying. You're free on Tuesday or free on Wednesday I'm not trying to see you at those times. I'm trying to see you in my bed in the next 30 minutes, okay? So this is another way to gauge interest on a level of, is it interest because you just want to whack yourself off inside of me and I count ceiling tiles while you do that? Or is it interest where you actually want to build with me and get to know me past just this time that we're encountering each other right now in this second, okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Right? Nicole says in the YouTube chat, she says, what if a guy you dated says, I like hanging out with you, but he never sets up hangouts with you? It's like, what is the point? You're lying to yourself about your interests, silly rabbit. Nicole, precisely. If a guy says he likes hanging out with you, but he never plans to hang out with you, clear sign he doesn't have any real interest in you. So you don't even have to play the interest test. That's your interest test, okay? He don't really like you if he's not planning to see you, okay? Let me make it very aware to you guys, all of you beautiful souls in the chat. If a guy that you're meeting and you're talking to doesn't take opportunities to see you when they outwardly present themselves and obviously present themselves, I can assure you he doesn't have real interest in you, okay? Especially a guy that lives close enough to you that he can see you at any point in the week, right? Meaning like he lives like an hour drive or less away from you, and he doesn't take opportunities that you're free to like jump on those and actually see you or plan to see you. trust me, he don't really have as much interest as you're imagining that he has, or his interest in you is to see you that night, jackrabbit himself inside of you that night, and not actually grow a relationship with you that takes work. Okay. Let's see. Tebe, right? Tebe, so I want to make sure I pronounce your name right. Tebe says, I agree with some level of stoicism when it comes to dating, especially in early stages, but not sure how I feel about games and strategies. Well, see, the thing about it is anything worth its weight in gold, okay, in life is always going to be the best when you strategize and prepare for it, okay? So even when it comes to relationships, I know, Tebe and everyone else that's like, I hate games. Why do we have to manipulate? Why do we have to do all this? Why do we have to strategize? Why can't I just be me and be myself and someone loves me and I love them for who they are? It sounds great in a movie and in a Disney princess story. I know, okay? I know how easy and amazing that sounds. But in reality, if you don't strategize when you're going out on dates and when you're building with people, you will make a lot of mistakes and present yourself in ways where people begin to receive you in ways that is not in line with how you want to be received by them. But so the better you can understand how men receive you, which is exactly why we have this show, the better you're capable of going out on dates and presenting yourself in the way that is in line with how you want to be received. And when he receives you that way, he treats you accordingly. So if you want princess treatment, I'm here to help you understand what are the things that guys see in women that they give princess treatment to. How do they receive them? How do those girls present themselves? What do they say? How do they talk? How do they respond to them? What's the dynamic? That way you can replicate that in a way that's authentic to you. I don't need you to be someone you're not. In a way that's authentic to you. And then when they receive you that way, they give you that princess treatment and you're a happy camper. I want to make you a happy camper, but I can't help you if I don't advise you on the strategies to help guys receive you how you want to be received. Because if you want to be received like a fun girl, like a yes girl, you can and do whatever you want and be willy-nilly. But the reality of it is guys will treat you according to how they receive you. And when they treat you according to receiving you like a fun girl or a yes girl, they will utilize you when they want to take advantage of you, and they'll discard of you when they don't care about you. Okay. And we don't want that for you. I'm assuming you're not here to get used and discarded of, okay? Unless you're into that, it's some sort of kink for you. But for the rest of you that want to be treated like with princess treatment, it's going to be very important that you strategize and understand how the men think so that when you go out on dates, you're presenting yourself in line with how you want to be treated by those guys, okay? Simple concept in itself, okay? I'm not asking any of you to be different than the person that you are or to change your personality or that you shouldn't be you. I want you to be you, but I'm also giving you a strategy on how to be you in a way that is the most desirable version of you and the most attractive version of you, okay? Okay. Maria says, did you realize that core movies are for men like Disney movies are for women? Unrealistic, which is 100%. I agree with that, okay? Okay. So, number one was to decline the first offer, okay? Number two, create a problem, see if he wants to solve that problem. Number three, you give him a free day, you just throw it out there. You're not saying, hey, I'm free this day, let's date. You just throw it out there and see what he does with it. And number four here, we have a very interesting one, which is to present to him the option to inconvenience himself. Now, all these tests are a little bit deep. This is one of those that in the process of getting to know him, this is a better strategy to use when you're a little bit deeper than just the initial meeting. See, when I talk about inconvenience, this is very important. You need to know how willing a guy is to inconvenience himself for you. Because if he's not at all willing to inconvenience himself, unfortunately, it probably means that he is just looking to take the easy way out in his relationship with you. When I say the easy way out, I mean he just wants it to be easy. He doesn't want to work for it. He doesn't want to work for you, and he doesn't want to do anything hard. Unfortunately, you will struggle trying to grow relationships with men who their interest level in you is only to the point where they just want to do the bare minimum to receive from you. It's not good because anytime you ask more of him, anytime you ask him to improve, anytime you ask him to do better or make adjustments, he'll moan and groan and be like, oh my God, we watch Netflix at my place. Like, why do we gotta go out on dates? Oh my God, I don't want to spend money on you. Oh my God. Like, and you're just gonna drag him along trying to get him interested in you, okay? We don't want that for you. So it's very important that actually, as you're growing this relationship with this guy, you understand if he's willing to inconvenience himself for you. So one of the best ways that you're gonna do this, okay, when you're seeing if he'll inconvenience himself for you, at some point, there's gonna come a point in the span of you talking to him where he has a plan with his boys. Excuse me, right? Whether it be we're supposed to, watch football together, we're supposed to go out to, eat together, we're supposed to go to the club together, it's someone's birthday, it's someone's this, we're gonna play video games together. Something is going to happen at some point in in the span of you knowing him where he's planned to do something with his boys, okay? Whether it be big or small. I want you to take one of those smaller scheduled times with his boys. So let's say, for example, he's like, oh, at 3 p.m., me and the boys were supposed to go on 2K and we're supposed to play together on 2K, right? So at some point, I want you to take one of those times that he says he's going to spend with his boys and ask him, oh, but, I actually just found out, that this place that we've been wanting to go to on TikTok that literally has no reservations throughout the week actually has a reservation at 2 p.m. And they're not going to have another reservation for the next, 3 weeks. So do you want to go at 2 p.m. or would you rather just play with the boys? And you give him the option. Now, this is where you rub your hands like Birdman. Now you sit back, relax, and wait. Okay? So I don't want you to come in between him and a huge plan, but this is meant to be a small plan that he planned with his boys, where now he has a decision to make. Do I spend time with her, or do I inconvenience myself and not spend time with the guys that I was supposed to spend time with and go and spend time with my girl instead, or this girl instead? Or do I say, nah, I don't care about that. I plan this time with my boys. I'm going to spend this time with my boys. Okay. And I know this might sound a little bit toxic, but you do want to gauge. You do want to gauge if he's willing to inconvenience himself or shift himself for you and what you need and to spend time with you. Because if he is, this is so great for you. Because now his level of investment is so deep that he is willing to drop things for you. Now you have a man who's really emotionally invested. Because when he's willing to drop things for you, what do you think happens when you have an issue? What do you think happens when you want him to treat you like a princess? What do you think happens when you're unhappy with things that are going on in your relationship? He wants to fix, he wants to adjust, he wants to make changes, he wants to improve and be a better partner to you. All good things for you. Now, if he's unwilling to inconvenience himself even in a smaller way, right? Just a plan of playing video games with the boys. He can do that anytime. And he really is against inconveniencing himself at all for you. Unfortunately, this is a really true sign that his interest in you is very low. Because the same way when you're building a relationship with a guy who doesn't want to inconvenience himself for you at all, anytime you ask him to make adjustments in the relationship, make changes or things that you don't like or are unhappy with, he's always going to be inclined to say, I don't want to change. I don't want to make adjustments. I don't want to adjust myself for you, because that's going to take more work than to just keep doing exactly what I've been doing. I want to treat you the bare minimum. I want to do for you the bare minimum. I want to put the least effort I possibly can into our relationship. And so what ends up happening is, because he's not unwilling to inconvenience himself, it directly correlates with his level of desire to make adjustments or changes in order to be a better partner for you. And once again, you can't really work with that when a man is constantly thinking about how to do the bare minimum for you. Okay? right? Return of the Max said too much of the bare minimum. Precisely. We don't want you building relationships with men obsessed with doing the bare minimum. That's not going to serve you, and you're constantly going to be hyper frustrated trying to drag him along to have interest in you, have interest in this relationship, and actually want to put his best foot forward, okay? We don't want that for you. Okay, so let's go into our, let's see here. We have another donation. YouTube chat is so generous. Okay, so we got a $5 donation from Tebe again. Thank you so much. So Tebe says, haha, no, not into kinks or whatever it was you said, just too old for games. You do often give good advice though, like the boundaries, like the one on boundaries. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, so what I was saying was, in the early stages, just about understanding that there's a strategy for everything, and having strategy is so important because that's how you get what you want. Okay, right? Thank you for the donation as well, okay? Cynthia says, I had to plan everything with my ex. It's unfortunate, and we don't, see, what we want to do is avoid you guys being in a situation like Cynthia just mentioned, where you're in a relationship with this guy, but now you're the one that literally holding the relationship together. And you're the one essentially managing the relationship, and if it wasn't for you pulling it all together and dragging it and carrying it on your back, then there would be no relationship, okay? Right? Deja says, I'm going through that right now. How can I try to let him invest in me? Well, in order to do that, if he hasn't been investing in you, you're going to have to pull all the way back, unfortunately. And that's going to be very uncomfortable for you and him, because when you set the dynamic that you're going to do everything and carry the relationship on your back, and you begin to do nothing, he's going to be very confused, and he's also going to be very angry and upset at you because he's used to getting everything he wants with no investment or the bare minimum investment. And so you're going to have to be able to pull yourself through the anxiety you're going to feel and the guilt you're going to feel for pulling away from him and doing less for the relationship, because he's going to blame you. He's going to scream at you, yell at you. He's going to claw and scratch anything he can do to try to restore the balance of power. Because when the balance of power has been established that you do everything, he does nothing, and all he does is receive, and you try to switch that up, he's going to be like, well, I don't like this. Okay. So you're going to have to be prepared for a war, unfortunately. Okay. Does that make sense? Right? Janice says, what if he blames his, sorry, I was just reading that. Janice says, what if he blames his parents' relationship and past experiences with holding his parents together? What does that have to do with his ability to be a good partner to you? Okay, I get having traumas and issues, but at a certain point, like, we're all adults here, okay? You can't blame the fact that I'm a horrible person on my parents, okay? If you're able to acknowledge the way that your parents went about their relationships in a wrong way and it affected you, or that's not what you want for yourself, then you're also acknowledging that your actions are wrong if you do that same thing, okay? I get it. We have traumas. We all have memories and things that affect us and affect our childhood, but blaming your parents for everything, you should chat, all you beautiful women in the chat, please don't allow men to come into your life and blame their bad behavior on their parents, okay? It's good that they can recognize they've been through traumas and they've had a tough childhood, whatever it may be, but at the end of the day, blaming the external for the ways that you act or the character that you have is just an external blame on everything else except for themselves, okay? You want people that can be accountable to themselves, responsible to themselves, and you can actually be reliable, okay? You can't have accountability when someone's constantly blaming this person and this issue and that issue, because, like, okay, at one point it has to eventually be you, and you have to take control of your own life. If you can't work with that, okay? So number one was to decline the offer. Number two, create a problem. Number three, the free day. Number four, the inconvenience. And number five, an invitation to go, an invitation to go deeper. Okay? So the reason I want you guys paying attention to this is one of the harder ones to do, because this is not one that you're necessarily going to do the first time that you meet someone, but it's definitely something you can do throughout the time of you getting to know someone, that you can gauge their level of interest in you. What I mean by the invitation to go deeper, what I'm talking about is when you're having conversations with a guy, I want you to actually make a concerted effort to go past the surface level of those conversations, okay? So I'll give you an example of what I mean by an invitation to go deeper. Let's just say, for the sake of example, this guy is talking about how, he really hates seeing, couples that are all clingy together, because when he sees a whole bunch of PDA, he just feels like it's weird, and couples kissing and all that stuff like that. It just seems like, bro, like, just do that when you're by yourself. I don't want to see all that. That's so disgusting. And you guys are having a conversation about that. But I want you to invite him to go deeper and start asking him questions like, okay, so when you were a child, did you ever see your parents like kissing? Did they ever kiss in front of you? Right? If they did, how did that make you feel? Or if they never did, how do you think that affected you? Do you think because you never saw your parents, kissing or being affectionate, that you started to believe that, that was the representation of marriage? Do you think that when you have kids, that they shouldn't see you be affectionate to your child? Why do you think that? How do you think that's going to affect your daughter, never seeing you kiss or touch her mom, right? Things like that. So I say that to say these type of questions and these type of inquiries is like an invitation for him to go deeper than just the surface level. This is great for you because, and I know that you're thinking, how does questions generate interest? How does any of that relate? Let me tell you a little secret. Okay? Guys who are not interested in you and have no interest level in you will struggle to go deeper with you. Why? Because when they don't have real emotional investment in you, they will not want to talk to you about anything that's not surface level. Guys are already less emotional beings than you, the woman. Okay, nothing wrong with that. We're all different. But even in that, right, they can share and go deeper within themselves, right? It is there. It does exist. However, if they're not emotionally invested in you or don't have intention of building with you, they will be on guard and find it very difficult to open up with you, okay? Let me just give you a straight up understanding so that this doesn't become confusing to you. If I'm a man and I'm talking to a girl who I know deep down in my heart I'm literally just using for fun because I want to jackrabbit myself inside of her and I want to, insert my schlong in her and have some fun with her. And then when I finish using up her and I have enough fun and I find the new girl, I'm going to discard of her and go to the new girl. If I know that deep down in my heart, anytime she invites me to go deeper, I'm going to avoid doing that because I'm not here to connect with you emotionally. I'm not here to have heart to heart. I'm here to jackrabbit myself inside of you while you count the ceiling tiles. When that process is over, I want to go and do something that I actually find interesting. Okay? Men who are not interested in you will always find it difficult to go deeper with you. Why? Because they're not here for the emotional investment. They're here to invest their pee-pee inside your squirtle, okay? That's the type of investment that they want to be happening. And they're not looking to have the type of deep connection with you romantically and emotionally that requires him to divulge into details about himself, about his family, about who he is and what he thinks and what he wants. All of that type of talk will be avoided like the plague, okay? Which is also should be subsequently an alarm bell to you when you're dating a guy thinking that you guys are getting somewhere or building something, but every time you want to go deeper with him, he stonewalls you, because that's telling you stonewall just means that he shuts down on you, because that's telling you he doesn't really have the level of emotional investment in you that you're thinking that he has in you. And the reality of it is people can talk about whatever it is they want, money and cars and, bank accounts and credit cards. The reality of it is, if a man is not actually emotionally investing in you, he will always be able to walk away from you easily, okay? Because at the end of the day, even if he spends money on you, yeah, he could spend money on you, but if he's got a lot of money, he can make that money back and he can go spend it on someone else. What you can't take back is the time and energy that you emotionally invest into another human being. Because when they walk out the door, all of that investment you've put in them walks out the door with them. And you can't undo that, and you can't take that time and energy back, okay? You only have a limited amount of that, and you only have that one life life where you get time and you get energy. Never forget that. So when you see guys are avoiding putting time or energy, or in other words, emotional investment into you, and emotional investment is by you getting deeper within them and them actually getting to know you, then you have a really clear idea that they're not actually here for what you think that they're here for, okay? Right? Serena says that's why time is money. Yes, precisely, right? And some people might teach you how to get guys to invest money, which is fine. I'm not here to tell you the difference between right and wrong. But me, if you ask me, I teach you how to get guys to invest time and emotional energy into you, because I am of the belief, and I'm telling you this as a guy, I'm of the belief that when you get a guy to invest time and emotional energy into you, that is the number one way to his heart, because he can't undo that and he can't unfeel that, right? He can't become unattached to you or just say, oh, I spent $100,000 on her, but I made it back, so now I'm going to go find a new girl, okay? You become very replaceable when the investment in you has only been financial, okay? You are unreplaceable, or irreplaceable, I should say, when a guy has invested time and energy into you, because he can't take that back and he can't just say, I'm going to make that back, right? Or replace that, right? Once you do that with someone, it's not something you can just copy and paste onto the next person, okay? And Nikki says, absolutely, it requires him to be present, which is exactly why we talk about that and we teach that I teach that to you guys in the Players Club, because I know truthfully as a man, if I have a lot of money, okay, if I make a lot of money, spending money on a girl really honestly doesn't do anything, okay? I can go on a $300 date because I have $300 date money. You're ecstatic because I buy you gifts and take you out on a $300 date. But the reality of it is that could be you or any other pretty girl in my life. So what's the actual point here? What are we actually doing here? Okay. If you're thinking that you're special because I'm taking you out on a $300 date, meanwhile, I can do that with anyone I want. Okay. Don't ever mistake guys spending money on you for a actual investment in you. Okay. That's financial investment. Yeah. But if he has a lot of money, he can invest in any woman he wants. Right? Does that make sense? Louisa says, but in my old situationship, he was very open to talk about deep topics, but he wasn't ready for a relationship. Now, I do want you guys to understand. So 2 things I want to say to what Louisa just said. One thing I want you to understand, was he talking about deep topics with you, and were they actually about him and how he feels? Because sometimes what guys are good at, even in situationships, is making you feel like you're having a deep conversation, but they're not actually sharing anything about themselves with you. See, the really good, really strategic men are good at this. You feel like you're having a heart-to-heart with him, but it's really just consists of you guys talking about you and kind of having some surface level conversation about him just saying, yeah, I went through the same thing, or yeah, me too. But when you're so in deep talking about a deep experience to you, you can get lost thinking we're having a deep conversation, not realizing that that guy actually isn't sharing anything deep with you about himself. Okay, so sometimes that happens to some of you also, where you get lost in thinking that we're talking about a deep topic, but we're really just talking about a deep topic as it relates to you, not as it relates to me, okay? Right? And so never forget that, because guys can also fake that interest in that way as well, right? Cashley says, I want to know why it seems like men only have one emotion, anger. Well, guys have more than one emotion, anger, but there's actually a really funny reason for that. And it's actually a little bit of how they've been like raised as men to believe that other men have really only ever encouraged them to show the express of emotion of anger, because usually as a man, when you grow up, you're not really going to see your father cry or your father upset or sad or things like that, because your father's going to hide that from you. Usually, majority of the time as a little boy, the only emotion you're going to see from your father and most other men that you look up to is the emotion of anger. So then when you grow up to be a man, you begin to believe that the only emotion you're allowed to outwardly express to people is anger. And so everything that you feel just starts to like funnel itself through the emotion of anger. And so even when you feel sad, it just channels itself to express outwardly in anger. Even when you feel disappointment, it channels itself into expressing out anger, right? And so guys begin to funnel all of their, so imagine their emotions are like a funnel, right? So the funnel gets narrow and narrow the deeper you go down. So at the top of the funnel, you have sadness, you have, disappointment, let's say grief, you have all of the guilt, you have all these different emotions at the top of the funnel. But as they narrow down and they get mixed up into the soup here, and they funnel into the final funnel that outwardly expresses to other people, it funnels all out as anger and translates all to anger, even though they came into the funnel as different emotions. Because that's the only emotion guys as little boys see in other men, right? They see anger expressed most of the time, only anger. And so then that's what they begin to funnel all their emotions through, okay? Unfortunately, right? They kind of have to unlearn that and grow out of that in realizing that being a real man, you also have all the range of emotions, and it's perfectly fine to express all the range of emotions, okay? That is something that honestly, you most of the time you have to unlearn as a man, okay? Right? Lee says, is this why he always fights gets angry when we fight? That could be a yes, and that also could be a no, because you guys might be fighting for many different reasons, okay? So I don't want to just put a blanket statement on that, right? So do those make sense? Do those 5 make sense to all of you beautiful people? So number 1, do you guys have any questions about those 5? Number 1 was to decline the first offer. Number 2, create a problem. Number 3, the free day. Number 4, inconvenience. And number 5, the invitation to go deeper. Okay? Does that make sense to all of you? Nifasimi says, what if you're having deep convos about him and he is not ready for a relationship? If you're having deep convos with a guy, Nifasimi, I feel like you're answering your own question without realizing it. But if you're having deep convos with a guy, and in those deep convos, he's telling you the ways in which he's not ready for a relationship, then you got the answer to your question. What you should do, you should leave that man and stop talking to that man, because he's letting you know he's not ready for a relationship. See, that's the most amazing part about asking questions and letting other people talk. Whether you get the answer you want or the answer you don't want, you still get an answer, okay? Right? No, it was a separate question. I'm not understanding your question here, right? I don't understand your question. You're saying that what if he has deep convos with you, right? But he's still not ready for a relationship. Well, this show is about him showing interest in you. So guys can show interest in you and have real interest in you, but they still might not be ready for a relationship, because being ready for a relationship versus showing interest is 2 very different things, okay? A guy can have interest in you, but still not be emotionally ready or available to even be dating you or be ready for a relationship, because not being ready for a relationship can come in many different shapes and forms that might not always be directly related to his interest in you, okay? Because as a guy, I can have interest in you, the person, the human being that I'm meeting, and I can love and care for you, but I can also have just gone through a relationship with my ex of 7 years and I'm emotionally unavailable. So now when I'm dating you, I have real interest in you and I want to grow a relationship with you, but I can still be unprepared for a relationship. So they're not necessarily mutually exclusive. Just because a guy shows you interest and his interest might be genuine, that necessarily means he's ready for a relationship. That's a whole nother topic, because guys cannot be ready for a relationship for many different reasons. Okay, does that make sense? Right? Says you can't accept authenticity without being authentic first. 100%, which is precisely why we always talk about asking questions. We always talk about getting good at analyzing people. We always talk about getting good at reading people and understanding them, right? Viola says, then you're his therapist. Yes. And I know you hear everyone say, I'm not going to be no man's therapist. You shouldn't be no man's therapist. I'm not going to help you with your problems and la 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 la. You want to know what happens to the people that say, I'm not going to be your therapist? They are the ones that get blindsided because they build relationships with people that they don't actually know. They live themselves in la la land because they're covering their ears and they don't want to hear anything real about the person that they're in a relationship with, because they've convinced themselves, I don't want to be your therapist. So they don't get any real information. They don't know their partner. They don't know how their partner actually feels. And then 2, 3, 4 years from now, their partner does a complete 180 on them. And they're just like, whoa, where did any of this come from? I didn't know that you felt like this. I didn't know that you thought this. I didn't know that you wanted this. And I didn't know this is how, what you were feeling this entire time. And you're shocked. Why? Because you chose not to be his therapist. And so all the real answers and all the real feelings that he had got told to someone else or got suppressed. They eventually come out, but when they come out, they're really strong and they're nothing like you imagine them to be. So my advice to you is if you don't want to be blindsided by men down the road, and you want to actually have an understanding of the guy you're in a relationship with, be his therapist. Be the person that he feels he can come to for anything. Why? Because as he emotionally invests in you that way, it'll become that much harder to allow you to walk out of his life, number one. It will also give you a very clear idea of how he feels, what he wants, and what he's looking for, and where his mind is at. All of that is such valuable, useful information to you as a woman, because the closer you get to his emotions and really understanding him, the less shocked you'll be with him down the road. You understand? Don't put yourself in I love you all. And I also am a man. And I know how men think and how they respond. Guys love to suppress things. They naturally suppress things because they don't feel like they should wear their emotions on their sleeve. Don't aid them in suppressing things by saying, I'm not going to be a man's therapist. Because when you don't get curious and ask questions and try to extract information from him, he will suppress a lot in your relationship. And then down the line, you'll be wondering why you don't know the guy that you're in a relationship, or why he's making this night and day, 180 spin on you, because you're like, wait, I thought you were this and I thought you were okay with this. I didn't know you were angry about this and I didn't know you felt this way. When in reality, he's always felt that way. He's just been suppressing those emotions. If you would have extracted that information, you would have known that. I don't want you guys blindsided, okay? Which is exactly why I say that, okay? All right, does that make sense? Viola says, had that happened to me, I played therapist, he wasn't ready, so I said bye. All of a sudden, he was ready. It's funny, too. The thing about it is, being a therapist, that's what I want from you guys. I don't want you guys to believe that being a therapist will ever yield you a bad result. Because even when think about this. Let's just like hypothetically put ourselves in this situation here. Hypothetically, if you meet a guy, and you become his therapist, his person that he comes to talk about all his feelings and emotions. Imagine you are actually his therapist. What would he go to his therapist and say? I'm dating this girl right now. She's so amazing. I love everything about her, but I'm just not emotionally ready to be in a relationship because I can't get over my ex. And you're his therapist. You're going to be the guy, you're going to be dating him. You're also going to be getting the information that he's telling you. He's telling you, you're his therapist. He's telling you, I'm dating you and I love so much about you, but I'm still not over my ex. Think about how amazing that is. You're actually receiving the information directly from him that he's not ready to be in a relationship with you and he's still not over his ex. That's amazing for you, because now you don't have to waste your time building a relationship with a guy who is still attached to his ex. You're actually, see, this is the most crazy, amazing part of it. You're tricking a man into telling you how he really feels, what he really desires, and what he really wants. So even if he tells you mistakenly that he's not ready to build something serious with you, that is still good. Because when you receive that information, now you don't have to wonder why he's doing this or acting weird or, not being in line with this or whatever it may be. You actually just extracted that information from him and he told you directly from the source. So imagine if you had a recording of everything he would tell to his therapist, and when he's talking to his therapist, he's talking about every detail of your relationship as he honestly feels it and sees it and perceives it. All of that information is amazing to you. And when you have that information, you can do a whole lot with it, right? Ashley says the Casamigos hiccups. No, I don't drink. There's only water in here. I don't even drink alcohol in general, okay? If you guys came for a party with me, one day we'll have a Players Club, huge party, celebration of, life, and you'll see me drinking water, okay? I don't drink, okay? Right? Says being a therapist doesn't mean to drop all his negative drama on you. This is the thing, though. You want guys. Someone said Diddy party? Absolutely not. We don't do Diddy parties around here. One of the things that's amazing, when guys can trauma dump on you, it's amazing for you because you will know exactly how he actually feels. Never forget, the best thing for you, the person that always wins in a relationship is the person with the most information, because you can utilize that information to understand the person and understand how to approach and treat the person, okay? In fact, when you get more information and you get guys yabbering and blabbering about everything they want and everything they're looking for in a girl and a woman, think about when you're building with that man, how easy it will be for him to get him way more attached to you than you are to him. Now you're getting everything you want in a relationship because you embody exactly what he's always been looking for and things like that in a woman, okay? So it becomes very easy for you to actually get what you want by hearing him give you all this information about what he wants, he's looking for, makes him happy, and all the stuff that he feels, okay? Right? Jen says, so how you know they're dating for marriage? You learn them and you ask a lot of questions and you listen and observe, right? You listen, observe, receive. Those are like the three, and analyze. Those are the four. Listen, observe, receive, analyze. We got to make like an acronym out of that, right? Because those are the most important things to do in understanding the man that you're dating, okay? And never forget that. Talking, trauma dumping, sharing a whole bunch about yourself, I know it feels good, but in reality, it doesn't bring you any closer to that guy, and it's not gonna help you better understand him. Because at the end of the day, the better you understand him, the better it will be for you, because you'll be able to actually act off of that understanding that you have for him, okay? Maria says, I was a therapist of one of my members and he is still sending me money for rent since more than 1 year. That's amazing, okay? So take that from Maria right there. When you become a man's therapist, you have the key to his heart. You also have the key to his wallet. Because some of you guys be asking me, Tomisin, how do I get a guy to spend money on me? Tomisin, Shira be advising this and she be advising that. How do I get a guy to spend money on me? You get access to his wallet through his heart. Not by making it obvious that you're looking for money. When you get access to his heart, you can become a therapist. He feels like he can talk. You do. Maybe one day we'll have another whole conversation about this, okay? Because I meet people from all different walks of life. You do realize, like, majority of the most successful strippers, they don't even do anything physical. All they do, a lot of the strippers, they just sit and they talk with men. And the men just sit there and trauma dump and talk about their relationship or how they're unhappy. Okay, I had a girl the other day who made a comment on my YouTube video and she was like, yo, this is so accurate because I work at a phone, Pineapple SEX office where guys call in for a phone SEX and, we be talking and all they do is share the ways that their wife doesn't know them, the way that their wife doesn't understand them or know anything real about them because they suppress all of their feelings and their thoughts with them because they don't feel comfortable sharing or being open. So I just say that to say, think about it. The men who are married and in relationships are going to strip clubs and spending the most money on the strippers who are just sitting and listening to them talk. Like, imagine that. I know it sounds crazy, but those of you who have either been a Smex worker and a Pineapple worker and you have been in that industry and dealt with men, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because the men go there and they literally just end up trauma dumping there because they don't feel seen or heard anywhere else, even in their relationship. This is why maybe one day we'll have a whole show about this because I want you to understand how serious this is and why it's very silly for you to adopt the mindset that I'm not going to be his therapist, okay? Nikki says you are lying. It's bartenders too. I'm telling you, a lot of the industry, whether it be with Pineapple work or whether it be just in the nightlife, you'll be surprised how much of those men are spending money to just sit there and talk. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked, okay? I'm telling you this because I've sat down with these women that do this and I've actually experienced this firsthand. You'll be shocked how much of those men, they don't even, it's funny. The movies are convincing you that the men pay and they're so horned up that they just want to pay for the free access to the woman. They want to jackrabbit themselves. That's what the movies portray to you. In reality, majority of those men are paying just to sit down and talk about their feelings and be honest and be open. Okay, they might get a little here or there, you know, in the process of it, but majority of the interaction is just to talk, and you'd be shocked about that. Which is why I also advise you all to know your man and really get to know him and ask him a lot of questions and get him trauma dumping on you, because we don't want him going to the strip club to trauma dump on the local stripper instead of you. We don't want that for you. Trust me, it's spooky out here, right? Jess Nuts says, why not pay for a therapist? Well, guys don't pay for a therapist for the stigma, right? They want to feel like they're a manly man who doesn't have all these problems. So going to a therapist makes them feel like weak, like, oh, I can't handle myself, so I go to a therapist. I know it's toxic. I just have to explain to you the reality. They feel like, oh, I'm weak, so I don't want to have to, go to a therapist for my problems. So they go to the stripper and they treat the stripper like a therapist. They just trauma dump, tell them all their problems, because going to a strip club when you want to get away from things and escape feels a lot more masculine to them than going to a therapist, even though they do the same thing with the stripper that they would with the therapist, and they probably pay the stripper more. Okay? I know it sounds backwards. I just have to explain to you the reality so you can understand the reality. Okay? Right? Okay. So, does that make sense to you guys so far? All right. With that being said, we're going to hop right into our next segment of the day. Okay. I know we could be here chatting forever. Let's hop into our next segment so we're not here for 4 hours. And you guys should know by now what our new segment is. It's our reacts portion of the show. So get your headphones out. Everyone spam a headphone emoji. Get your headphones out. Someone put a video camera emoji. Spam your headphone and video camera emojis, your headphones out. We're about to get into our react section of the show, where I react to videos that you have all sent to me and that are hovering around the internet about relationships and all of that good stuff that we talk about in the show and life as well, okay? Excuse me. By the way, guys, this is my second page. I'm trying to get this second page to 10K followers, so make sure that you guys go and follow that as well. It's just my full name, okay? And it's the only page I'm following on my main TikTok page. All right, so let's get into our videos today that we gotta watch. Let's start off here with one. I think this was sent to me. Let's make sure that the volume is right here. And this one I believe was sent to me. This is by Dating Coach Jenny. Okay.
A single guy out there that this question does not work on to just keep the conversation going. Ask a boy this and he will yap, yap, yap for the rest of your allotted time together. Whether you're on a date or talking to, I don't know, some fucking guy, a classmate, just ask about his injuries. Ask if have you ever broken a bone? No matter what his answer is, it's all in the follow. This is the time to congratulate him, to celebrate him, to reward him, just to keep egging him on about something. If he isn't like athletic or outdoorsy, or like if breaking a bone or like having a sports related injury isn't gonna be relevant for him, just apply it to whatever his interest is. Have you ever lost a game of Valorant? Have you ever broken a gear? Invite him to talk about a failure and then celebrate his bravery in overcoming it, or tease him depending on like your relationship. Now, if you want more meaningful questions, I do have a list of like 25 plus conversation starters in my Fuck the Small Talk guide, which you should definitely grab from the top of my page just to talk to people a little bit better. Follow for more. There is not.
Okay, this is actually a great submission here because what she's talking about is amazing. And it's amazing for guys, I'm telling you this as a guy, because it's actually what we talk about in the Players Club. When you're having conversation with a guy and you want to get him talking more, you always want to be focused on asking him questions with relevant topics that have to do with him and things that he's interested in. And then when he answers those questions, or in the process of him answering those questions, you always want to make it seem like what he's telling you is the most fascinating thing on earth, even if it's not. And I know for some of you it's not, but you have to understand what that does for someone when they feel like you're really engaged in what they're telling you. And I know it sounds stupid because she was talking about, injuries and talking about him about breaking a gear or whatever it is like that. Stuff that you don't really probably care that much about. But you have to understand you want to do yourself a service, and doing yourself a service is extracting information from guys so that you're not blindsided and you actually know what they're looking for. And you're doing yourself a service when you talk to them about things that they're interested in and get them opening up and get them trauma dumping on you. And this is a great way to open up the conversation and then start him flowing into trauma dump world. Because once you open the floodgates of getting a guy talking, it becomes very easy to just make this an ongoing process. Okay. And then, he's just continuing to yap and yap and yap and yap. And then you can go right into the deeper topics. Okay. So I want you to note one thing that she said, and not just, okay, there's the initial question of something that he's interested in, but then I want you to note something that she says after this.
Ask about his injuries. Congratulate him, to celebrate him, to reward him, just to keep egging him on about something. If he isn't like athletic or outdoorsy, or like if breaking a bone or like having a sports related injury isn't gonna be relevant for him, just apply it to whatever his interest is. Have you ever lost a game of Valorant?
Okay, so something important that I wanted to note that she said was about egging him on. So when he's asking that question, you want to essentially make it seem like, oh, I'm so happy that you shared that piece of information with me about you breaking a bone or breaking a gear or whatever it may be, okay? And I'm so happy that you did that, and I want to show you my happiness and appreciation for you sharing that story. You give him positive feedback. So what she's referring to is the positive feedback that you give him is saying, wow, I can't believe you overcame that obstacle, breaking a bone and recovering. Or I can't believe you fixed that car. You literally took a car from a broken down, dilapidated car, you fixed it up, and now it's brand new. You got your brand new Beamer, M7, whatever. And when you congratulate him like that and make him feel like, wow, like she actually appreciates the story that I just told her and what I just shared with her, it's going to make him feel, right, that positive feedback loop of, oh, I just shared something about myself. I was real about an experience I've had. She made me feel really good about sharing that experience with her. So now I'm going to share more because I want to continue feeling good about sharing. And she clearly likes when I share. So I'm going to continue to share more. And there's this feedback loop where guys will talk and talk and talk more. And as you make them feel good about talking more and sharing more, it's part of the reason why I tell you guys, when a guy is chatting with you, don't make the mistake of doing faces, scrunching up your face, looking angry or anything like that, because you're gonna cue him in on the fact that you don't like what he's saying and he should stop sharing. Okay, never ever do that. Okay, we don't want you doing that. Okay, but this is great advice. I love the advice she gave here. Next we have here
things guys do when they don't like.
By the way, I realized this the other day. I don't know if it was someone that sent me this video a while ago, but Sarah Lauren, I don't know if any of you guys heard of her or have watched her on TikTok. She actually lives in Toronto, so I could actually collab with her. Do you guys want me to collab with Sarah Lauren? Okay, let me know if you guys want that collaboration. Maybe we could talk about relationships because she makes a lot of like TikTok dating videos, okay? She's from Toronto, I think.
Things guys do when they don't like you. And by don't like you, I mean not trying to
It says New York here, but I seen on her page when I went on it to save this video that she is from Toronto. And so she lives in Toronto now, okay?
pursue you to be
I'm from Toronto, yeah.
more than a fling, a hookup, a situationship. Number one is when they only weekend or night text you. If they only hit you up on the weekends, that's their fun time and that's their time that, you know, they don't got much going on. They could be looking for something, looking for some fun, little weekend plan, a little weekend fling. And if they text you at night, it's a booty call. So girls just honestly don't even answer the booty call. Number two, if all you see is his bedroom, if all you see is his bedroom, that is the only place in his life he wants you to see, okay? You get the gist as to why you would be in the bedroom, but if I have to say it out for you, he just wants to hook up. And he is not bringing you out on dates, he is not showing you his friends, he's not bringing you to dinners, taking you out on those dinner dates, or even just to his friends whatever it is. If he's not doing that, he doesn't want you to see that or be involved with his life in that manner. Number three, if he's a bad texter, Any guy will text you and find time and make time to text you if they want to, and if they're interested, and if they want to pursue you. And if not, they'll call you. So they will make time to put that effort in. And if they don't, and he's a bad texter, no, sweetheart, he's not a bad texter. He's just not that interested in you. And last but certainly not least, if he doesn't make real plans. If he isn't making real plans with you and like booking in advance at a dinner or planning when the next time he's gonna see you, when he sees you next, and like having something to do, even if it's like a week in advance and you're still having a movie night or whatever, fine. But if he's not making those plans and like setting those in advance so that you don't do other plans and that he can't see you, whatever, and then you're busy, he will, if he's interested in you, he will make that plan and pursue it and do something special for you because he wants you to be his and not anyone else's. So he doesn't want you to have that chance to be on a date with somebody else.
So I actually want to pause it here. She's saying a lot of good stuff. I want to pause it on this last point that she just mentioned here because it actually aligns with what we just talked about today when gauging a guy's interest by giving him a free day and just throwing it out there and seeing what he does with it. When a guy is interested in you and you give him a free day in the future and he wants to get to know you, he's going to jump on that free day and use that as an opportunity to get to know you. If he has no interest in you and you throw out a free day, he's not going to take it or utilize it or mention it because he just doesn't care that much about you or getting to know you or spending that time with you, especially if he knows that you're busy or he's hearing that you're busy and you don't have free days often. So just keep that in mind, that you don't have to pursue guys and be like, hey, do you want to go out on a date with me to really get your answer? When you throw stuff out there, you can throw stuff out as feelers. And trust me, guys that want you, they'll take those feelers use those feelers to their advantage.
He will be asking you and checking in on you about what you're doing, which leads me to my next one. If he's not asking you what you've been up to, what you've been doing, where you're going this weekend, or with who, if you say you're going to a dinner or you're going out, then he's not that interested. He's not even jealous. So it means that he doesn't care if you're with somebody else.
Yeah, I would say that's facts. That should be straightforward. I shouldn't even say that. It should be straightforward, but sometimes I think that you guys feel like if a guy's not asking about you or curious about you, it's just because he's so busy that he just, doesn't have time to care. Like guys are still gonna, even if they're busy, they're still gonna show care for you and like what you're doing or at least what you've been up to, okay? It might not be like a 24/7 type of thing. He's gonna show some care though.
So if your man...
Okay, so let's start off from the top here because there was some that we missed. I want to
a situationship. Number one is when they only weekend or night text you. If they only hit you up on the weekends, that's their fun time and that's their time that, they don't got much going on. They could be looking for something, looking for some fun.
I would say to this yes and no. Some people with 9-to-5 jobs are really only available on the weekend. Or mostly available on the weekend. So that's more of a schedule thing. But however, even more than that, and I think she says this afterwards, even more than that, if you're noticing only night times, that's an even bigger deal. More than weekends, I'd be focused on if a guy is only trying to see you during the nighttime, because the nighttime just usually means it's creep time. He's horned up and, there's just usually not enough. It's late enough that he can say, I have something to do early in the morning. And that's the perfect excuse to just go to your house or you come to his with just enough time for him to bust a nut, but not enough time for you guys to actually like hang out, go to dinner, do something nice, or, spend some real time together, okay?
Little weekend plan is his bedroom. If all you see is his bedroom, that is the only place in his life he wants you to see, okay? You get the gist.
Someone said, can you tell us her name? Her name is Sarah Lauren. Just go on my YouTube page. Watch, because I'm live on YouTube, same time as TikTok. Go on my YouTube page, which is right above my head there. It's just my name. Type it in. When you see my live stream, just look at the name. It's up at the top right corner. I credit all the creators that I watch. I just can't do it on TikTok because there's no space for me to put the creator's name there and the video, okay? So just watch the stream on YouTube if you want all the creators' names.
To why you would be in the bedroom. But if I have to say it out for you, he just wants to hook up. and he is not bringing you out on dates, he is not showing you his friends, he's not bringing you to dinners, taking you out on those dinner dates, or even just to his friends whatever it is, if he's not doing that, he doesn't want you to see that or be involved with his life in that manner. Number 3, if
I would say 100% facts. I think it's pretty straightforward. If you see his only bedroom, or if he's not including you into his everyday life, also not a good sign.
He's a bad texter. Any guy will text you and find time and make time to text you if they want to, and if they're interested, and if they want to pursue you. And if not, they'll call you. So they will make time to put that effort in. And if they don't, and he's a bad texter, no, sweetheart, he's not a bad texter. He's just not that interested in you.
Okay, this is the only one I'll disagree with, because there are I don't like to be mean to some of y'all, but you guys just have to understand there are grown men in the world that can't spend all their time on their phone texting. And even if they might see your text throughout their day, their focus is on other things that, take up their time and energy. Not to say that texting their woman is not meant to be important, but there will be periods of their day where they can sit down and text more and be more available over the phone. There will also be periods of the day that require intense focus, where even if they see your text, they can't stop what they're doing to focus on texting you. That doesn't make them uninterested in you. That just makes them a adult with priorities and responsibilities. So I just say that to say I want us to differentiate the difference between someone who's uninterested in you and someone who actually, just has other priorities. Because sometimes you can build up a ball of anxiety within yourself when you're dealing with someone who actually has a lot going on in their life. And even though they are interested in you, you pushing and being like, please talk to me every second of the day becomes really unattractive to them, because they start to think to themselves, don't you have anything else to do in your life except for sit around, watch paint dry, and wait for me to text you back? So there's a balance there, okay? Guys can still be interested in you and dating you without necessarily texting you every second of the day. I'm telling you as a guy, okay?
And last but certainly,
I think we already did all the other ones, okay? So that was pretty straightforward. Let's go to the next video here. Sarah Lawrence was great, though.
A lot of men are only going to do what they have to do to get what they desire, okay? If they can do the bare minimum and still get everything, many, not all, but many will stop right there. I think some of you think, well, okay, if he's serious, he'll push and do more. No, no. Again, men are pretty much, all right, if this can get me that and I'm good with that, that's it. This above and beyond for what? Even in life in general, you have to understand, I'm a believer, this is my personal belief, that the vast majority of men are just looking to live comfortable. They don't have a mentality of, I gotta do more. That's not even how they're wired. They just want to do enough to be comfortable and content. A lot of men are...
I like Steven Speaks. This is Steven Speaks, by the way. For those of you guys wondering who this is, he's more on YouTube. His TikTok is Steven Speaks, but he's more on YouTube than on TikTok. I like Steven Speaks. He's very clear. He doesn't need a curse to get his point across. I really like that sign of maturity to me, okay? One day we'll probably collab. But Steven Speaks is really accurate here. And I agree with a lot of what he's saying, and I actually want you guys to take that to heart, because these are really good points here that I want you guys to understand. A lot of them are hardwired to just do the bare minimum. So when you allow them to come into your life and you only require them to do the bare minimum, or you make them feel like in the past, in your relationships, you've allowed the bare minimum to be guys that get access to you, it's very bad, because you're showing him, or whether it be with the past experiences that you had, the exes that you've had, or in the experience he has with you, that he only has to do just enough to be with you. And it also speaks to your value when he feels like he doesn't have to put his best foot forward to get access to you. We don't want him devaluing you because he feels like he can do the bare minimum with you. See, I know it feels weird and I know it's anxiety inducing, but when you require a lot of men, I guarantee you the type of men you attract are the men willing to do a lot, and the type of men you will literally repel are the men willing to do absolutely nothing for you or only the bare minimum for you, which which is good. We don't want you spending a whole lot of your time on men who want to do the bare minimum, okay? Like we talk about bare minimum men actually in the show. We have a name for them and we call them microwave men, right? We call them microwave men because they want to put you in the microwave for 30 seconds on high, and they want to pop you out of the microwave like a hot pocket, have you hot and ready without doing any work, any preparation, or any sort of, cooking for you. They just want you hot and ready just like that. That's why we call them microwave men. We don't want you wasting a lot of your time on microwave men. Okay, I want you to spend your time with chefs and people who are willing to prep the meal, take care of it, and put some love into it by the time they eat it. And I mean that literally. Okay, let's go to our next video here.
iOS 18 is coming out, and you are able to.
This one I believe was sent to me. I don't know why it was sent to me. I just assumed it had something to do with relationships. So I added it to the queue here. I actually haven't watched this.
iOS 18 is coming out, and you are able to schedule text messages on it, and I'm not sure we're ready for this as a society.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I'm not sure we're ready for this.
Okay.
This can be used for some nasty, nasty, nasty work. Yeah, it could be used for good. But let me just tell you, I have some, not me. I'm a mature individual, but I have some friends. I know some people in this world that would use this for some nasty, sinister work in terms of relationships with the opposite sex and even the same sex. It's some nasty, nasty, nasty work, and I'm not sure we're ready for this. This may make some people too powerful. It was one of the last things you actually had to send the text. You actually had to send the good morning text, the what are you doing tonight text. This is some that I don't know if we're ready.
Oh, that's funny. I seen some of you guys saying that as well. Like you can send schedule good morning text and copy and paste and all. So it's actually pretty funny. And I actually think it speaks to a larger point. You guys know me. I love to make things way deeper. Okay. I'm Mr. Deep. Okay. I always go deep. The thing about this is the even deeper point here is what I want you to understand is don't fall in love with the personality that you meet over text. Because with all the tools that guys have at their disposal, Chat GPT, they can schedule their text, they can do this, they can do that, right? Spell check, all the other stuff, right? They have a lot of tools to utilize to build a personality over the phone. And so when you fall in love with who they are over that phone, you don't realize that the person you're actually building with is not the person that you have fell in love with over the phone. And so I don't say that because I want to make you depressed. I just want you to understand you go by how you feel about someone when you actually meet them. And don't ever assume you actually know someone until you start seeing them in person. Because all of the different tools we have at our disposal will make it very easy for the wool to get pulled over your eyes and you're in love with the man that you don't actually know. You can also waste a lot of time endlessly messaging and texting like a pen pal with a guy that you don't actually have a real relationship with. I don't want that for you, which is why I will never, ever give you advice on how to be a great girlfriend or whatever over text. Because the reality of it is you're not even going to be able to build a relationship with someone over text because that's not representative of the real human being. Okay.
How to get in a guy's head.
Oh, it's Sarah Lauren again. Sarah Lauren.
How to get in a guy's head. How to make him freaking obsessed with you. Now, I don't know if you're going to want to do this because they are going to be all over you. There will be no more chasing needed by your end. They're going to be wrapped around your little finger. Number 1, text him his name and then don't answer. None. Done. We're ghost. We're gone. There is no response after that. He is going to be first kind of freaking out, kind of shitting himself, but then he's going to get into oh crap, I really want to know what she wants to say, whatever, and be so invested in you and in that conversation for as long as you don't answer.
Okay, I know she's just making a little video, okay? It's just a little TikTok video. I make those too. So she's just giving quick information. This works if a guy has interest in you. If he doesn't, he might play along with you just of the curiosity. Because there's also been people that have texted me random things, and I'm like, what is it? What is it? What is it? Then when you finally figure out what it is, you don't care anymore because you never really cared. It's just the curiosity can carry you into caring. So don't mistake what she's talking about here with a guy's actual interest. Because I trust me, there's lots of people that might not like me that I can text randomly and be like, hey, guess what? And they're like, what? And they call me and they're like, what's going on? What's up? And I'm like, oh, I just wanted to tell you that I got new Air Forces. And they're like, what? Bro, that was so useless. And then they won't text me again because they don't care necessarily about me. They were just curious about what it was that I was hitting them up about. So just like keep that in mind.
And then once it is a couple hours, and when I say a couple, I mean about 4 to 5 hours later, then you can say, oh crap, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. He will be wondering about it 4 days. Number 2, hold eye
I mean, I guess, yeah, but like I said before, he has to have interest in you already.
contact with him. It makes him so nervous, and it creates like this sex drive, and it'll make him want you even more. It'll make him start that obsession with you. But you have to keep the eye contact like very strong and very not weird and awkward, but just like you're actually looking at him and you're looking directly into his eyes. My favorite thing
Eye contact is really good. I'm an eye contact pro, so I know how to do that, and I know that that works. And as a woman, I would recommend you, if you wanted my advice, become an eye contact pro, because that is how you shoot your shot without shooting your shot, okay? What I mean by that is you're not going to be buying guys drinks and going up to guys and saying, I think you're cute. And definitely not going to have your friend go up to guys for you and say, my friend thinks you're cute. If you're doing that, please stop doing that and never do that again. Please, I beg of you, don't ever do that. You're never going to get the type of guys you want doing that. But I say that to say, when you do identify a guy that you like or think is interesting, I want you to become an eye contact pro. We've had a show about flirting and how to flirt with guys before. And understand how you're going to kind of reel him in and let him know subliminally that I like you, I sees you, and I wants you. He's going to then say, I like you, I sees you, and I want you. Take the effort to come up to you and approach you. Now you've started the conversation and everything's starting off. So being an eye contact pro is very important. And like Lauren said, Sarah said in her video, don't make it weird. Don't make it I'm holding my drink and I'm staring at you across the room and everyone's looking at me staring at you. Don't make it weird like that. It's got to be subtle, and you've got to kind of like look a glance, and you'll know after a couple of glances, you'll know you're seeing him, seeing you, seeing him, seeing you, and you guys are seeing each other. It'll be when you're an eye contact pro, you'll start to know. Okay, so just go out and practice if you're not, and you'll get the hang of it day after day. Okay.
thing in the world is telling a man that you don't know if he's your type. You're still kind of figuring it out. Now, this will make him want to be your type. This will make him want to figure out what your type is and be that person for you. And he's going to be invested into thinking everything that you want from him, and he's about to do that. Because men can't lose, and now it's a game to him. And last but not least, tell him that
I wouldn't advise you to do this with guys that you just met, because when you meet a guy you just met and you tell him everything that you like and you want from a guy, theoretically, yeah, he could do that on the first couple of dates. But what's also going to happen after that is he could just be doing that because he wants something from you, which is to jackrabbit himself inside of you for 90 seconds or less, usually less. And then after he jackrabbits himself inside of you, gets what he wants, busts a crazy nut. He busts a nut. And, you know, wipes it off with a sock, then he goes back to being who he really is, which is not who you're looking for. You're disappointed, and when he walks out the door and leaves the crusty sock on your back, you're wondering how you let this happen to you. I don't want that for you. So just don't do that with guys from the very beginning, okay? Yeah, sure, with your boyfriend, you can be more detailed about what you're looking for. A guy that acknowledges himself to also be committed to you. Don't do this with random strangers that you just start going out on a couple of dates with. Rest assured, any guy you've only been on a couple of dates with is a random stranger. You don't actually know that guy.
you feel safe with him. Guys love to be in their masculine era, and if you tell him that you feel safe with him, then he will be in that masculine era, and that is exactly how he wants to feel with a woman. So good luck.
That's not really how that works. Sarah is very smart, very intelligent, and knowledgeable in a lot of areas in dating. But on that point, that's not how that works. You can't just tell a man, I feel safe with you. And that's going to put him in his masculine. Okay. He actually has to like be in his masculine by protecting you and being protective over you. But that doesn't happen just by telling him you feel safe. Because if you don't, then you're going to be sending him a lot of wrong signals as to what's going on. Okay. Now, you being in your feminine will also make it easier to bring out his masculine. So that's an action for an action. But you just saying that is not going to like bring that out of him. Okay. Someone says, do you have a crush on Sarah? Why would you think that? I don't have a crush on Sarah. She's smart, though. Very smart.
Dating is not for cute pictures and making memories. That's for marriage. Dating is for tough conversations and ugly situations, because here's what's going to happen. I have 80 years to make memories with you when we're married, so let me have tough conversations while we're dating so I can make sure God has called us to make memories together. But we would rather make dating cute and we'll get surprised when the marriage gets ugly. No, you got them switched. Dating.
So I actually agree with this. And I think someone sent this in our Discord. By the way, guys, you can either tag me in videos and mention me in them on TikTok, and I'll, add them to my list to watch and react to, or you can send them to me in Tomisin Reacts in our Discord. I think this was from the Discord. But this is a great video. I like this because it's exactly what I teach all of you, that you're not dating people for fun. I know you want fun, you want to enjoy yourself, and you want to have a good time. You will do that with your partner. However, when you're dating, it's a process of understanding that person and what they're about and who they are, okay? It's like she said here, dating is for tough conversations, right? And all the stuff that is required to get to the point of being in the relationship. So if you guys don't have an understanding, and if you guys don't know each other within the range of emotions, like I always say, right? Meaning you know someone not just when it's a Saturday night, you guys are having fun on vacation, everything's good, but also when they're angry, when they're stressed out, when they got work problems, family problems, friend problems, life problems, all type of problems. You need to see them through the range of emotions as a human being before you fully have an understanding of who they are. That is the dating process, okay? That right? And so that's what that whole thing is learning the person. That's what she really means. And I want you to think of dating instead of dating them for happiness. You're learning the other person, because learning the other person is what's going to give you insight on whether or not you guys will be a compatible person. And you never want to assume you already know everything that you need to know, okay? Always be trying to learn more about the other person. Okay, let's go to our next one here.
I don't want to see his follow list.
Oh boy, you guys love this guy. Okay, someone sent this to me.
I don't want to see his follow list. I want to see his explore page. Like, are you watching entrepreneurship videos, or are you looking at BBLs? Like, are you trying to get your game up so you can run a company one day and I can shop on your card? Or are you trying to run games? Like, are you...
Wait, but you know what? I'm not even going to say it. I was going to say, because why would the people that, never mind.
Videos, or are you looking at BBLs? Like, are you trying to get your game up so you can run a company one day and I can shop on your card? Or are you trying to run game? His digital behavior matters. What is he filling his mind with? And it's not just his follow list, because he can be shady and not follow what he's looking at. The explore page doesn't lie. We need him filling himself with entrepreneurship and art so he can afford princess treatment and our Viva Natural collagen. I don't want to see his follow.
I think this is slick an ad, but because you see he mentioned it at the end, but yeah, I think it's an interesting way to go and way to think about it, right? Because some guys might not follow a whole bunch of things that they actually are watching and consuming. Algorithms are really good now at putting stuff in front of you that you actually watch and actually consume. And so I think there's a lot of truth to that and what he's talking about, and how the explore page or the For You page can give a lot of insight as to like a guy's mind. Now, while I say that, I want to make you guys aware, rather than thinking to yourself, hey, if I want to know everything about him, I'm going to grab his phone and scroll through his TikTok For You page to get to know the real him. I'd rather you use the strategies that I discussed with you about asking good questions and getting guys to talk and confess to you their soul in real life. That will give you way more insight to who he really is and how he thinks than scrolling through his For You page. Like we just talked about earlier, men are paying all this money majority of the time to go to strip clubs and just have conversation with these strippers and just talk to them about how they really feel and how their wife has no idea how they really feel or what they really want or what they really desire or what makes them happy. And so I say that to say, getting guys to just talk about themselves and getting good at that, right, and share with you how they really feel, that superpower and super skill will serve you for the rest of your life. Love Christian. He's amazing, smart, has lots of good insight as well. But scrolling through his For You page ain't really going to give you, is not the strategy you want to be relying on, I should say. Okay? Does that make sense? But great video.
Hey, let me tell you something.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this guy, but this is Tony Gaskins. Okay, he makes relationship content as well. Very well-spoken man, intelligent man. Okay, doesn't need to curse to get his point across. I like when people can do that. It makes me feel like you're smart enough.
Hey, let me tell you something. Man want you, you ain't gonna have to ask for nobody's opinion. You ain't gonna have to wonder. You ain't gonna have to hire no coach. You ain't gonna have to talk to your mama, your best friend. When a man wants you, it is undeniable. He is not going to be inconsistent. He is not going to be lazy. One thing about a man, he goes after what he wants. So if he wants you, you gonna know. Hey, let me tell you something.
So part of the exact reason why I tell you all, do nothing. Because doing nothing, and I should have put that in today's show, doing nothing is one of the best ways to gauge a man's interest in you. Because when he actually wants you and you do nothing, he will continuously constantly pursue you. Okay. Now, obviously, you have to give him some feedback and make him feel like he's getting somewhere, which is where we talk about, showing a little bit of interest strategically just to make him feel like he's actually getting somewhere. But overall, you don't need to do backflips and front flips for a guy to continuously pursue you. You just have to sit back, relax, and receive. But some of you get so anxious when you really like a guy, or you really want this guy to like you, or you really want this relationship to work out. You start thinking, before he even shows me any interest, or before he even starts pursuing me at all, I'm going to run around and do everything I need to do, give him handies, give him footies, wash the dishes, fold his laundry, brush his teeth for him, scrub him in the shower, and do all that stuff so that he likes me and wants me and notices me and wants to be in a relationship with me. And in reality, you end up building a relationship with a guy who doesn't actually want you. You end up building a relationship with a guy who knows how to take from you and receive from you because you're so willing to give to him before he even does anything for you. Okay? Right? Does that make sense? Someone said calm energy. I like it. I like Tony Gaskins. I've seen some of his stuff. Obviously, I'm a man, so what he talks about doesn't necessarily apply to me. But I've seen some of his stuff. I like that he speaks with conviction, and he doesn't need to curse. I just don't like when people. I don't mind cursing. I just don't like when people have to curse the whole time when they're getting their point across. I feel like it's very clear to get a point across if you're intelligent when you're able to do it without like having to curse a bunch, because I don't feel like it necessarily adds clarity to what your message. Whatever. That's a side note. Anyways, with that being said, we're hopping into our next segment here. Okay. Our next segment here is a very amazing segment, and I need all of you beautiful souls in the chat to spam in the chat what time it is, because some people are new here, so they don't know what time it is. I want to know that in the chat, those of you Players Club members that have been here for a long period of time are very, 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 very aware of what exactly the time is that we're about to approach. For those of you who are confused, you might be looking at the clock. You might be looking at your phone. You might be looking at your computer. You might be looking all over the place in your home. But I can assure you, this time is a special time. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, You're going to see some things you wish you never saw with your little eyes, okay? But it's going to be great. Why? Because Discord time. Yeah. All right, chat. Let's go ahead and hop into our Discord. For those of you unfamiliar with how we do it here in our Players Club, a live stream and Discord, essentially what this is this is an opportunity for all the members of the Players Club community to ask me a question. Look at this, we got screenshots. To ask me a question about their relationship or situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, I know you're probably really eager to ask your question. There's multiple ways for you to ask me a question and get my advice on it. So the first way, you can go right into our Discord simply by going into the link in the description on TikTok, or the link in my bio on TikTok, or the link in my description on YouTube. Join our Discord, ask your question in our relationship advice free section, and you can get your question answered. I will warn you, though, there's a queue because I have to do first come, first serve to make it fair, and I have to go by the oldest question first. It's been hard for me to get to some of these questions just because we've had a lot of influx, and so it's going to be a couple of weeks for me to get to yours, okay? I do still answer free questions, don't you worry, but it does depend on how many other questions there are. Now, if you're wondering what are those other questions you're referring to, the other questions are for those people who are too impatient to wait for a free question. These people are what we call, premium relationship advice questions, which is essentially where you get an opportunity to ask your question to me, right? In the premium section, if you're impatient and it's like a VIP pass at a theme park, meaning I answer premium relationship advice questions first before I go into the free section and I clear them out. That way, if you're impatient, you get an opportunity to get your question answered ASAP in the next, 2 days. And so by the way you do that is by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. You ask your question, you click where it says premium relationship advice, you donate to the show. It's very simple to donate to the show, and all you got to do when you donate to the show, in your message, you send the title of your question and your Discord username when you send in your donation, and I get a notification on my phone. I'm able to see that that's you, confirm that that's you, and that's your message. That way it keeps it fair to everyone. That way random people aren't putting it in premium so they can get their question answered quicker without donating to the show, okay? So I like to keep it fair for everyone. Now, if you're someone who feels like you want to ask your question privately to me because you don't want your business on Front Street, that's perfectly fine. I also have another option for those of you who want me to give you advice, but you just want to keep it private between you and me. So you can fill out this form in it's on our Discord, and it's also in the link in my bio on TikTok and the link in my description. Ask me your private question, and I will respond to you via your email that you used to fill out this form, and you ask your question. You're going to donate to the show, and then I respond to you within 7 days, a voice message, and I send it to your email, okay, that you filled out the form with, okay? So that is that for all of you, all the different options here. So let's get started with our first premium relationship advice question, which comes from MV, okay? So, MV says, okay, no time left. He is flying over for the weekend. Help. All right. So we're about to hit the weekend. Let's see if we can help you out here. Hello, 23 female situationship for 3 months. Been talking to a guy for 3 months, and we started when I was back in my home during break. I wasn't looking to catch feelings. I just wanted to have pineapples because I just got out of a long relationship. Oh, we've already started off bad. What do I tell you guys this all the time? Don't waste your own time doing a thing with guys that's unserious, that you don't want a relationship with, or you think you're not looking for anything serious at the time. How many times in the chat have we seen it where people will say, hey, Tomisin, I was doing a thing with a guy that was supposed to be just for fun, but now I want it to be more than fun. Realize that it's silly of you to do something just for the fun of it. And because at the end of the day, it will eventually catch up to you when you're enjoying yourself so much and you've been making it all about fun and allowing him to get access to you without any work. You're going to be in a pickle, which is what I feel like MV might be in here. I caught feelings. What did I tell you? What? I haven't read this message, but what did I tell you? It always happens. Steady, on repeat. They amplified after we had pineapples. Of course, because you're a human being with feelings. You can't do the unserious, let's just, have some fun. You're not going to be able to do that. Don't convince yourself that you can do that. Everyone that's convincing you to do that is wasting your time and trying to hurt you because you're not going to be able to do that. It happened the night before my flight. I left my home country and he continued to talk to me. Over time, he would tell me that he liked me, but only when he was drunk. What do you think that means? He's horned up by you, right? His pee-pee likes you. When his pee-pee's standing up, then he seems to like you a lot. But on a Tuesday afternoon, when he's not drunk and he's not at a club, he doesn't seem to have that much like or love for you, okay? Quite fascinating how that happens, quite convenient. We continued talking, but I noticed that he would be so engaged whenever I'd play, I think you meant say, play into his pineapple-y jokes. I wonder why. Because when you're making pineapple-y jokes, it's probably going to end up in dirty talk, right? Where you might send him a picture of you with your pants at your ankles of your dump truck. Okay? So when you're making pineapple-y jokes, he's thinking in his mind, oh, I'm about to get me a picture of her with her pants at her ankles. So yeah, now he's really tapped in, right? He's tapped in and he's really hard, okay? He's rock solid. So yeah, of course he's going to be interested when he's drunk and he's rock solid, or you start making pineapple jokes and he's rock solid. He wants that picture of you with your pants at your ankles in the mirror. Disclaimer, in the course of us talking, we were both aware of the fact that he would be flying over to the country in late September this weekend. So that has always been at the back of my head as a chance to see each other again in the future. But anyways, his communication was so bad unless he was horned up. Notice that? He was inconsistent, and I swear he only messaged me when it was convenient for him and when he was drunk. Why? Because he's horned up. When he's thinking about what your dump truck looks like in a pair of tight jeans, yeah, and he's drunk, yeah, he's going to message you. Like I said, when he's just doing regular stuff and he doesn't need to be horned up, he doesn't need to talk to you. Okay? I don't know how you're not seeing the easy equation here. I told him we had to stop talking for those reasons, and he accepted. Okay, so maybe you did see the equation. He then chased me for a whole week trying to text me and call me, but I ignored it every time. Probably because he knows he's eventually coming there and he wants to jackrabbit himself inside of you. He pleaded for me to give him a chance to speak, so I let him, and he told me he wanted me and wanted to do better by showing me he cared and communicating more. Let's see if he actually does that. I gave him a chance. Turns out I'm dumb. I'm shocked. Because he ended up repeating the same stuff. I'm shocked. I got sick of it and cut him off again for the same reasons, and added that nothing was deepening, so it was pointless. He accepted, but explained that why are you even explaining this to him? He accepted, but explained that he doesn't know how to deepen a relationship over text. I mean, yeah, but okay. And said that he just wants to hang in person. Since cutting him off, he's messaged here and there, but we aren't talking in the same way we used to, and I'm trying to stand on business by ignoring him. He flies in this weekend. I want him to grow a pair and show how he really feels. I'm scared he's going to reach out to hang and I won't know what to do. How do I get this boy to just fall in love with me, okay? Funny. So MV, I see the pickle that you're in. Here's the thing, though. He's made it clear that majority of his focus has been on just, wanking himself off to either your pictures or dirty talk with you. You need to accept that as a reality, because what you're trying here is you're trying to hold out hope that maybe this is only happening because it's over the phone. I'll give you a dose of reality. Truthfully and honestly, even if a guy is not seeing you every day in person, and he actually wants to get to know you, the human being, he'll pick up the phone, call you, he'll try to FaceTime you. And when he's on the phone with you over like FaceTime or a phone call, he will try to have conversation with you about you and actively try to get to know like the real you, okay? And you'll notice that amount of effort in getting to know you, the whole person, understanding your experiences, trying to have deeper conversation with you, right? Obviously, you're not going to have super deep conversation over text, but you can have deeper conversation when you're talking on the phone or when you're on FaceTime. Of course, there is no substitute for seeing someone in real life, but when you're, long distance, there's only so much you can do. And so I say that to say, if he is saying, oh, the reason I'm only talking about, dirty talk and only talking, pineapple over the phone is because I can't, get no deep relationship over text. Well, then why don't you pick up the phone and call? Or why don't you pick up the phone and FaceTime? If that's too much for you or that's too much of a burden for you, then you're not really trying to grow a relationship here. And so I say that to say, I feel like you added this response from him because you almost are trying to use that in your mind as justification for what he's doing as well. That way, when he comes and he flies in this weekend, you're saying to yourself, well, maybe this is my chance to actually get to know him because, we haven't been able to do this thing in person. But the reality of it is even if he's flying in this weekend, like you said, he's flying over this weekend, but he's eventually going to go back to his place. So if based on what he said to you and the excuse that he gave, he'll be able to get to know you for this weekend. And then when he goes back, what happens? Because he said he doesn't know how to deepen a relationship over text. So you'll get 2 days of your relationship getting a little bit deeper. Then what happens for the next 365 days that he's not going to be with you in the same city as you? And so I just say that to say, I feel like you're wasting your time even seeing him simply because from what you told me in your message, I anticipate he's going to come, see you, have some chit chat with you, probably take you out on a date, chat with you, small talk, you'll laugh a little bit. And eventually one thing will lead to another. He'll just want to get drunk with you because clearly he be getting drunk a lot. He's going to want to get drunk with you. And I 100% guarantee you when he gets drunk with you, he will try to sleep with you. So what are we really doing here? Because when he gets drunk with you and he tries to sleep with you, remember what he said. He doesn't know how to deepen a relationship over text. So he's going to sleep with you. He's going to go back home and then he's going to make the same excuse. I know I slept with you when we were together, but that's because we were together. Now that we're not together, I don't know how to talk about anything except, pineapple stuff and sleeping with you, because I don't know how to deepen a relationship over text. So what are you going to do then? You slept with him, but now he's telling you he doesn't know how to be consistent with you because he doesn't know how to do anything over text. So what would you do all that for? What would you spend the weekend with him for when he's only going to go home and give you the same excuse? Okay. I say all that to say, recognize when a guy doesn't have intention of building with you by what he literally says to you. Okay. And I think he's actually made it very clear he doesn't have intention of building with you. He just wants to give you excuses why he can't build with you. That way, when he does come, he can make it seem like you guys are doing a thing so that he can jackrabbit himself inside of you. That's the thing he wants to do. Okay. Our next question here comes from Melissa. So Melissa says, do I text him? Melissa says, hey, Tommy, I sent you a private message last week. Thank you for a great answer. The situation is this. I had 3 dates with this guy. He got sick, probably COVID or I don't know if I can even say that. Probably or a chest infection. This was 4 weeks ago. For the first 2.5 weeks, I texted him 3 times every few days and asked him how he was feeling. Then, following your advice, I gave him space to reach out to me once he felt better. As the conversation was dry, anyways. Now it's been 9 days of silence and 4 weeks since our last date, and I still haven't heard from him. I don't know how someone can be sick for this long. Maybe he is, but I now worry. Shall I text him again and ask him how he's feeling, or wait? Because I initiated a few times before, I feel it's his turn, but I also don't want to seem cold without checking up on him. I wouldn't be texting to meet up just to check if he's feeling better, or is that showing I care too much? I'm extra anxious as I'm traveling this week. He doesn't know. So if I don't see him this weekend, you're in scarcity mindset. Don't get into scarcity mindset. I can see it building within you. I see it. I see it. I see it. You're as if this weekend is the last weekend you can ever spend time with him. Okay, it's not. Don't lose your marbles. I won't see him for another 3 weeks. That's fine. That's fine. You were living and existing before you met him, right? You'll live and exist for the 3 weeks that you don't see him, okay? By that time, it will be nearly 2 months since our last date. No pineapples yet, but I'm scared he'll find someone else or forget about me. If he forgets about you, he wasn't that interested in you in the first place. Now, let me give you a little dose of reality here, okay? You had 3 dates with him. Then he, started feeling under the weather, right? I love you and I care about you. And I want to give you this, not to be mean to you, but so you can actually have a dose of reality, okay? Someone can be not feeling well for a couple of days. That doesn't, unless he's in the hospital, it doesn't really affect his ability to text you or just send you a message. I know, in our minds, we want to justify this and justify that. I can assure you, I've been under the weather, not feeling well. Unless the constraints were dire, I was capable of sending a single message. I just say that because I want to pull you out of the delusion you're going to start putting yourself in when you want to justify what he's done to make yourself feel like he hasn't spoke to you for a different reason other than he's just not interested. Because the reality of it is someone being so under the weather that 4 weeks, for the past 2.5 weeks, that he's been under the weather and, not feeling well and he hasn't really reached out to you. Trust me, it's not because he's under the weather. It's just because he's really not that interested in you. Now, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. That doesn't even mean that you have to change or adjust yourself or anything like that. But you just have to accept when, you're building with someone or trying to build with someone that isn't trying to build with you, okay? It's not a crime, okay? It doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make him a bad person. But in order to avoid more pain, you need to recognize when the ship has sailed and when you're just wasting your time. Because at this point, like you mentioned, you've basically for the past 2.5 weeks been reaching out to him and trying to show him that you care. So everything that you're saying, you've already been doing it, checking up on him. You gave him space. And all the stuff that we talked about, right? You already messaged him. So messaging him for a 4th time or messaging him again to check in on him again, thinking that that's going to stimulate him asking you out on a date again, you have to understand when to just, take your ball and go home, okay? And that's part of the beauty of dating one person at a time, because it makes it very clear to you, right, when you're dating one person at a time, that the person that you're dating is not really that interested in you. Because it's just you're so much more hypersensitive to that when you're only dating the one person. And so I actually want that, because I want it to be easy for you, Melissa, to recognize that he's not that into you. And that your best bet is to walk away from this and not continue wasting more time. Because you're thinking that, if I text him, he's going to remember me. This is what you're saying, Melissa. And I want to say it out loud so you're hearing how silly it sounds. What you're essentially feeling in your mind is that if I text him, he will be reminded of me and reminded of the fact that we went on 3 dates, 4 weeks ago. And when he is reminded of me, when I text him, he will then remember miraculously that he wants to take me out on a date in the next couple of days. Because if I text him and he asks me out in the next couple of days, I'll be able to see him this weekend. And so when he texts me in this next couple of days, I'll see him before I go on my trip. So in your mind, you're imagining a simple text, which hasn't amounted to anything in the past basically 4 weeks. You're imagining that a single reach out text will stimulate him to ask you out in the next the weekend is coming. Okay. This message was sent yesterday. You're thinking that text will stimulate him to ask you out on a date literally the same day. I just say that to say your delusion is starting to settle in. And it's starting to settle in because, like you said, you're extra anxious now. So you're feeling like, I got to make this happen and I got to make this work by any means necessary. You're the woman. It's not your job to be making this work by any means necessary with a guy that's not even calling himself your boyfriend. You need to recognize that this guy is just not feeling you, okay? And if he was feeling you, he would have done more in his relationship with you than, kind of willy-nilly text you here and there and not ask you out on any date in 4 weeks. Trust me, Melissa, I care about you. A guy doesn't ask you out on another date in 4 weeks' time, that ship has sailed, okay? Especially if he's went on 3 dates with you, he has not just forgotten about you. He is not asking you out on a date because he doesn't want to. If he did want to go out on another date with you, he would have asked you to go on one. I know I make something so complicated sound so simple, but the truth of the matter is, it is that simple. 4 weeks without asking you out on another date just means he's not very interested. So I just want you to stop wasting time thinking that you're going to do something to get him interested, okay? And the fear that you have that he'll forget you, it's not that he'll just forget your existence. Your fear is irrational that he'll forget you. What you need to realize is that he's just not interested in you. He knows of your existence. He's just not interested enough to reach out to you. That's fine. I want you to move forward though. Okay. Next here we have, what the heck? Oh, that was the free ones. We have one more premium one, and then we'll go to some free ones because I haven't been able to answer them for a while. So let's do Electric Feels here. Electric Feel says bad daddy issues. Okay. I feel scared to post this. Oh, okay. Well, don't be scared. I'll be honest and be real with you. Most people know someone with a crappy parent or have one themselves, so I'm definitely not trying to be important with my question. My dad was strict and violent, especially when he drank. He was good looking, popular, and had multiple affairs. He abused me, my mom, and our family dogs. I'm so sorry for that. After a come to Jesus moment as an adult, I decided to have no contact since 1996. Wow. I have done the work and I am okay. But when it comes to my relationships with men, I'm not sure how or if to disclose this info since questions about my family come up relatively early. I usually just say he's a jerk and we are estranged. That's perfect, okay? Electric Feel. The reason I say that is not because I don't think that you should be open with people, but I want you to open up with, especially as a woman, the guys that you open up with, you'll start to feel very close to. It's a human connection, human emotion, nothing wrong with that. But we just don't need you divulging super deep into, I know that it sounds horrible, but some of the men you're gonna date casually aren't really that emotionally invested in you or, are wanting to actually build a relationship with you. Until you sniff that out, the men who are really serious about building with you, you don't just wanna be trauma dumping on random men who are going to use that information against you to, take advantage of you. We don't want that, okay? So it's good to just keep things vague and general until you build a deeper connection and that guy actually acknowledges and shows you that he's ready to be serious with you, not just casually date you and hook up. I've never disclosed about my dad until I felt relaxed with the guy I was dating. But even then, I keep the details vague when I explain it. That leads to questions and usually feeling torn up. I hate this is my story. I want a different story. Well, you can't have a different story, but you can work with what you got. We all have advantages and disadvantages in life. How do men view women who have daddy issues? Do they view them like maybe I'm damaged, easy prey? Is it she's damaged good, not wifey material? You said in one of the shows not to talk about how badly guys treated you in the past because the current guy will say, well, if all those guys treated her badly, I should be I should be able to treat her worse. Precisely. That's exactly what they'll start thinking. Is it the same for someone who has a bad dad? I would answer simply to your question, no, the same thing doesn't apply, but you don't want to be giving all of this very sensitive information to randoms. And guys that you date for 1 or 2 dates that you don't really know are randoms, okay? So until someone can show you months and months of consistency, and you really start to learn them, like I say, in the range of emotions. You don't just see them on dinner dates. You see them mad, sad, angry, with stress, with issues, and all the different things and situations you can see them in. Then you can start feeling like, okay, now I can start trusting you with more and more information. And it's like a faucet. You just trickle it out, and you see what happens. Okay, you don't just trauma dump on everyone all at once. And so in terms of answering questions about your family and things like that, I think for most people, when you just talk about, oh, well, when you say from the beginning, I don't really talk to my dad, he hasn't been in my life for a long time. For most people, they usually understand that. And, if your dad hasn't been in your life for multiple years, even decades, it's just even the information you would give them would be so irrelevant to your situation now. Most people would just talk about your actual family life, right? Because at a certain point, he's not even part of your immediate family. So there's not that much to talk about. Now, when you start dating a guy and he's actually acknowledging himself as your boyfriend, you can start divulging into experiences you had with him back in 1996. You understand what I'm saying, right? Because like for most people, there are no more questions after I haven't spoke to my dad in over 2 decades. You understand what I'm saying? Like how much more information is there than that? Him and my mother just, divorced or whatever it may be, separated, and I haven't seen him in that long. There's not that much more to ask about that. You understand what I'm saying? And so you can choose to divulge more when you can actually build that relationship with that guy. Okay. Has this contributed to the fact that I have not had many relationships and been single for most of my adult life? I don't trauma dump, but should I not talk about it at all? You should, but with people that you actually can trust in relationships, not randos, okay? There is a time and place to divulge this. You just don't want to trust this information with anyone, especially someone, until a guy identifies himself as your boyfriend. Then, just to keep it hard and fast and simple for you, then start going into the inner workings of all of this, okay? Because I guarantee you, when a guy already calls himself your boyfriend, what you experienced in your family life with your dad will not affect how he feels about you, because you are you, and you being you is not affected by how your dad chose to treat you, because that's outside of your control. A smart, intelligent man that's mature will be more than capable of being able to receive this information and not have it change how he feels about you, because how your father treated you is not a function of you allowing men to mistreat you. Do you understand? But having a guy that you chose to be your boyfriend mistreat you and staying, that's a choice, because you choose your partner. You don't choose your father. You understand what I'm saying? So emotionally mature man can take in that information, and that doesn't make you a bad person because of how your father treated you. Maybe someone who's emotionally immature might be like, oh, you let your father treat you like that? You should have just walked away when you were 6 years old. Like, come on, like, it's just ridiculous. Sometimes I consider that I should say I don't want to talk about him so that things can feel normalish. I wouldn't say that, because it feels like you're not saying more. I would rather you just say, I haven't spoken to him or seen him in 2 decades, and so he's just not even a part of my life. I just don't know what's even going on with him, right? That seems a lot more like I just don't have any information to really give you, because I can't consider someone part of my family that I haven't seen in 2 decades. That's fair. And people understand that. Like, what are they going to ask you? What was your dad like in 1996? Like, it's just like the information isn't even relevant at that point. It's better for them to just ask how your current family life is with the people that are in your life. But if you say, oh, I don't want to talk about that, let's close that chapter and never speak of that again, it just seems very like, oh, damn, there must be so much more there, right? So just be like, he hasn't been in my life for 2 decades. Like, literally, like you said, you don't even have to lie. He hasn't been in my life for 2 decades. I don't speak to him or talk to him in 2 decades. There's just not much information I can give there, okay? How do men see women who have not had good dads? Like I said, doesn't affect you as the person, because you don't choose your dad. An emotionally intelligent, like mature man understands you don't choose your dad. So how your dad treated you is not a function of your own value. It just is. It's not something that's going to affect the way he views you if he's emotionally mature. If he's emotionally immature, maybe he might say, oh, you should have walked away at 6 years old. But like, come on, like If that man is that emotionally mature, you will have spotted that out before you're even dating him. Okay, you should have. Grateful for anything you want to share regarding this topic, how to disclose or not disclose. I do find myself attracted to single dads, specifically girl dads. I just melt when I see them being good dads to their kids. I'm very lucky that my mom is awesome. Thanks. Yeah, so like I said, Electric Feel, you don't need to say, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I'm never going to share information about that. What you can say is that man hasn't been in my life and I haven't had contact with him since 1996. So in over 20 years, I haven't contacted or spoke to that man. And that's perfectly fine. People can understand when you don't have any information to give about someone who you haven't spoke to in over 20 years. Okay? Like that's not a crime that you don't have much to speak on there. And so when you say that and you say that you just have nothing to talk about because you don't really know that guy after 20 years, you don't really know someone, that becomes like, a dead end. Because where are people, what are they going to press? Tell me what your dad and your situation was like with your dad in 2008. I wasn't speaking to him then. Tell me what it was like in 2018. I wasn't speaking to him then. Tell me what it was like in 2000. Like there's just no information. So people will be fine with that. And then from there, you can just choose selectively who you share that information with by understanding when you can trust them, and you can trust them when you're actually in a committed relationship with them, not when they're strangers casually dating you and dating 10 other people or something like that. Okay. Next here we have, let's go into a few of our free questions. We have here Ness. Okay, we'll just say Nestle. Okay. Nestle says, help. Nestle says, I'm 32. I was dating another 32-year-old man. We met at a party 9 months ago. Something short happened. What do you mean? With him, just texting, and one night we slept together. Okay. No intimacy. What does that even mean? So you slept together like he didn't kiss you? He didn't touch, like he literally just... Are you trying to tell me that a man slept with you and all he did was penetrate you, didn't kiss you, barely touched you, and there was no closeness aside from him just penetrating you? Is that what you're trying to say? Wow. Hi, I wasn't sure, so he ended it before starting. He wanted to stay friends, so I accepted because we have mutual friends. I removed myself but continued texting. After 2 weeks, I met M and we clicked immediately and started dating. In that time, when I was with the other guy, A called me and wanted to cook a dinner for me. So I told him that I have a boyfriend and stopped texting, as you should have. After 3 months, things happened and we broke up. So you broke up with M. 2 months passed after my breakup and I wrote to A about the dinner that he promised, and he was so happy to cook for me. We had an amazing time. This is a bit concerning to me, Nestle, because it looks you're starting to like hop from man to man here. But you did say 2 months passed and you only dated this guy for 3 months. So there's a little bit of the judgment starting to worry me. He insisted to stay over, but I didn't accept, and he drove me home. He wasn't consistent at texting, but we were in contact. Then he cooked one more time for my birthday. He even brought a present and a cake, and again, it was so amazing. He played the guitar for me, and this time we got intimate. Chat, let me just stand up and do a stretch, okay? I haven't done one in a while, and it's not, it's not that Nestle's it's not that Nestle's question is so bad here. What bothers me is, how do I say this nicely? What bothers me is I really need all of you to stop with this scarcity mindset that as soon as a guy does one single nice thing for you, that you owe him sleeping with you. And I want to like squeeze this out of you. I need to shake this out of you, because this will be a hindrance to all your ability to build any new relationships. Because the guy basically doesn't treat you like anything. He shows you a little bit of attention, right? You say no the one time, and then he does one nice thing for you, gets you a little present, plays the guitar for you, and then you reward him by sleeping with him. I get it. You probably felt good about the situation and felt good about him, but I just want you to understand, stop thinking that when a guy does something for me that I owe him my body. It's just a very dangerous mindset to have, because anytime a guy is nice to you or courteous to you or courts you, you're immediately going to put subconscious pressure on yourself that, oh my God, it's getting close to time that I have to spread my legs wide open for him, because you feel like, see, and this is the problem. It stems from you feeling like your only value to him is your ability to spread your legs open for him. When in reality, as a whole human being, you contain way more value than just that. But when your belief is your only value is that to him, then you think to yourself, as time is ticking, I need to spread my legs and I need to let him jackrabbit himself inside of me. He can't continue doing nice things for me without me giving him something in return, because you don't feel like he can get anything in return from you outside of you sleeping with him. I don't want that mindset for you, because it's going to ruin a lot of your relationships, okay? You're going to feel like anytime a guy is nice to you that you owe him that. He was asking to see me. He was speaking for things like we will do the next time, where he was talking about going somewhere for a couple of days. We had to meet, but it didn't happen. I didn't contact him and we went silent. Magical. Guy played you the guitar, got you a birthday present, cooked for you. Now it's silent. I went to a holiday and obviously your first language isn't English, so I'm not faulting you for this, okay? I can tell your first language isn't English. I didn't wait for him to take me, and he was liking all my stories all the time, but not texting after 2 weeks of silence, and I made a mistake and sent him a picture of the sky and wrote, I want you to take me somewhere with a motorcycle. How do you mistakenly send someone a picture of the sky and mistakenly type out, I want you to take me somewhere with a motorcycle? Unless I'm not versed on how text messaging works, I just feel like you wouldn't be able to send a message like that accidentally. Maybe I'm confused. He replied in a second, I'm there for 10 minutes. So that night we had dinner. Okay, so great. He got to see you on the spot. We had dinner and back to his place. We got intimate. In the morning, he started calling me baby. It was so normal, like a relationship. Let's see how long that lasts. And then he again got silent. I wrote him after 3 days something funny. He replied. I texted him back. But since then, he is ignoring me. It's been 1 week. He didn't even read the last text I sent. He is seeing my stories but not texting back, and I don't know what to do. I want to text, but then I'm like, hell no, I'm not texting. Help. I really wanted to know it to work this time. So this was an update message later on. He is back 35 minutes ago. He sent me a video on Instagram, but I didn't open it. He didn't contact me for nearly 3 weeks, and he is back now. I'm planning to ignore him the same way. Okay, so clearly so this was August 31st, and you sent this on August 21st. Or sorry, August 21st or whatever. Yeah, so he was back after a while. I'll message you back after a while, but clearly it wasn't that serious to him. When he was horned up, right? And this is the thing that guys will do. They'll put you on a hamster wheel where basically they treat you like a girlfriend for, a couple of days. They'll sleep with you. And then when they sleep with you, they'll be good for the next couple of weeks. I always tell you guys, like, guys are weird. They get horned up, but sometimes they have to build their horned up levels to actually want to go out and see you in person. So for some guys, they'll do this weird thing where they'll message you. They'll, go out with you, go out on a date with you. Things will be good. They'll sleep with you. Then when they sleep with you, they don't really like you, right? So they need like a couple of weeks of recharge. and to recharge their horned upness so that they can reach out to you again, message you again, and sleep with you again. But remember, they don't really like you. So that charge up has to take a couple of days, sometimes a couple of weeks, before it can be charged up enough of him not seeing you and not speaking to you for him to actually want to sleep with you again. And this is the weird thing that guys will put some of you through. They might be nice to you and courteous to you, but they'll just disappear for a couple of weeks because they have to charge up their horned upness. They'll come back, be nice to you, courteous with you, they'll sleep with you, and then they'll go about their day again. But that's the worst part about this, is that you'll find yourself in a situation where you're on a hamster wheel. So I think, Nestle, you kind of figured this out even before my message and realized that you're on a hamster wheel. And there's, I hope so, even after, you sent this, that you didn't end up answering his message because there's just no point. Because he's just going to take you on the same roller coaster ride over and over and over again. And you're never actually going to see the result in the relationship that you want, which is him taking this seriously. And so I think it's important to realize that so that you can help yourself. Okay. I just don't think there's anything left for you with that guy from what you told me. Okay. Let's go to the next question here, which comes from maybe it's me. Am I tripping? Okay. EA Anonymous said, oh, let's see how long. Oh, this is really long. Okay. I can't do one this long today. So I'm going to table this one for tomorrow. Some of these be really long, guys. You guys got to condense your messages. So let me table this one for tomorrow and we'll go over to Aisha. Not because I don't like you, EA Anonymous. It's just a really long message. Okay. Oops. Let me even see here. Oh, that was the original message was deleted. Yeah. So that wasn't even, what the heck? Let me see here. That was really... Okay, yeah, we'll come back to yours tomorrow, EA. No, don't worry. So let's do Aisha's. Aisha says, should I give the nice guy a chance? I've recently been on a date and the guy is extremely nice. He paid for all my stuff. On the first date, he's a bit nerdy and he's a homebody. He bought me flowers and gave me lots of compliments. But even though I know it's a nice thing, I can't help but cringe when he shows me affection. I think this is because I'm not used to it and I never had affection as a child. So it grosses me out when a man gives me princess treatment. How do I cure my ick? Okay, here's the thing, Aisha. This actually is more about, I know that you're believing that it's because, of what you've experienced, right? It's mostly has to do with your own feeling of your own self-worth, actually, okay? I know that you didn't see the affection as a child, but when a guy gives you princess treatment, it's not just him kissing you and giving you compliments. It's also him like showing you appreciation and being nice to you. So if overall you feel princess treatment doesn't belong to you, then you're actually acknowledging that you don't feel in some ways that you deserve that. And for whatever reason, you feel there's a misalignment between a guy treating you really well and what you believe that you deserve. Because that, truthfully and honestly, that is not a good thing. If when someone treats you well, that you feel you're, icked out or you don't deserve that, or like that's just cringe to you. Okay. And here's the thing I'll also say that I want you to be aware of. Okay. Because you said I recently been on a date with a guy who's extremely nice and he paid for all my stuff on the first date, right? So here's the thing that I want to acknowledge that could be the issue. You just might think that guy is cringe, okay? Okay, let's have a real conversation. We're adults here, all right? Let's just be so for real. Not every man that you meet is gonna get you lubricated. Let's just cut the BS. I was gonna try to beat around the bush here. Let's cut the BS. Not every guy you meet is gonna make you lubricated. Not every guy you meet is gonna get you wet. Some of you, let's just be so for real, you need a man. A big, strong, big dog. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how you were created. Okay, you were created to want a big, strong, big dog because when we were cavemen, the big, strong hunters that were able to go out and kill the deer and bring it back to the village, those were the ones who were able to actually sustain a family and you were able to survive with, right? And so you evolved to want the big, strong, big dogs with the resources and the ability and the intelligence and all that other stuff. when a guy is a little bit too nice and a little bit too nerdy and a little bit, just he's too round. Okay. You guys know the episode of SpongeBob where he has no more edges and he's round now. He's not square anymore with no holes. It's like that. And that turns you off because that doesn't make you feel like he's a hunter who goes and gets what he wants. He doesn't feel very masculine to you when he's so soft, so cuddly, and so, you know what I mean, almost to the point where it's feminine. Now, this is the thing. I understand how you feel, which is why I don't get upset at the idea that when men are overly nice, that it can turn you off as a woman. I get it, okay? And I understand it. Unfortunately, for the really nice guys, they're confused because they're like, "Wait, but I gave you everything that you said that you wanted. So why isn't it blah, 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 why don't you want me?" And it's the same idea as when the guys tell you what they say they want. I want you to pursue me, show me interest, text me all the time, tell me how much you want me. In reality, when you give that to them like that, they don't respond to you well. And so for you, the woman, as well, you obviously want a guy to give you princess treatment and treat you well, but let's just be so for real. Okay, we're gonna have a real conversation as adults. You want a guy that's nice and respectful and all that, but that doesn't mean that you want a wimp. That doesn't mean that you want someone that you feel like you can step on or rub as a doormat. Let's just be so for real. Because if you have a guy like that you feel like is so madly in love with you that you could do anything and he'll never see any wrong in what you do, and he doesn't have any standards or expectations for you, you're going to be very dry. Okay? Because you also want to feel like that man has a backbone and a spine and doesn't necessarily worship the ground you walk on. You want your guy to treat you well. You want your guy to give you princess treatment. There's nothing wrong with that. But I understand you don't necessarily want that to come with a man that you feel like you can walk all over, okay? That's not going to be attractive to you, and that's not meant to be attractive to you. So I say that, Aisha, to say, in your situation, it might not be necessarily that you just have a problem with princess treatment in general. It might just be the fact that you think he's cringe. And he's a little bit like overly nice to the point where it's not even about princess treatment anymore. You just feel like you can walk all over him. And that's not going to turn you on. Because when you're in the bedroom and he's penetrating you, you've got to feel like, damn, I can't take this. This man, I'm gonna pass out. Okay? There's nothing wrong with you as a woman. You want to feel like your man's handling you. So you're not going to want to feel like you're in there and you're like, you're stroking his hair and you're like taking care of him. That's not going to turn you on, okay? That's not a crime. I want you to recognize that within yourself so you can be honest with yourself and him and not string him along. Because what's going to happen is as time goes on, yeah, he'll treat you well, but you're going to get drier and drier and drier. And then you're going to start fantasizing about like people at your work and stuff. And you're going to start going out with friends. And when guys, are a little bit bad boys or rough around the edges, or they're a big dog, right? That are, a little bit, handle you a little bit more. You're going to start getting turned on. And that's going to be a problem because you're going to start fantasizing about other guys other than the guy you're with. We don't want that for you. We want you to find a balance between a big dog that can protect and provide for you, treat you well, yes, but isn't going to let you walk all over him and be like a doormat to you, overly nice, and just let you do whatever and get away with anything, okay? Because that's also not going to work for you, all right? So I hope that helps you in your search there, Aisha, all right? So for the rest of you, someone said safe word. Trust me, you got to have those. You trust me. Don't ask me how I know. All right, so I hope you guys got some value out of that. If you guys have questions for me and you want to be able to skip the line, make sure you go into Relationship Advice Premium and ask your question there. You donate to the show, link in my bio on TikTok, link in the description on YouTube, donate to the show, send your username and send the title of your question. I answer it on the show live. Or if you have a private question, fill out that form. Same link in the bio, same link in the description. Fill out that form for a private question and I'll answer it to you personally. I got to get to some right after this, all right? I love you all so much. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram and you want to see everything that I'm doing all times of the day, my personal Instagram is right up there on the top left corner of the screen. It's just Tomisin_Atub, and right on the bottom right there as well, okay? Someone said Tomisin is a big dog. Shh, guys, we're not going to talk about that. And if you guys are on TikTok and you want to know, sorry, you missed out. You guys made me lose my train of thought. And you missed out on parts of the show or you came late, you guys can always find the show there at the very top right corner of the screen where you'll be able to access all the live streams that I've done since the beginning of the time. Just type in my name and you'll be able to see this live stream and all the other ones I've done since the beginning of the time. You'll get the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video so you won't miss a minute of conversation that we have with all the jokesters, okay? Until we meet again, because I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Until we meet again, see you later. Sayonara, goodbye, hasta la vista, adios, ciao, salam, arrivederci, bon voyage, and I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, goodbye. I love you. Okay, say it back. You gotta say it back. You gotta say it back.